Hey guys, how's it going? I am super excited that you had the courage to take action and attend this presentation. Who's excited to learn how to slay the dreaded Lyme disease beast once and for all? If you're jazzed about taking your life back or helping others say goodbye to Lyme disease, whether it's your patients or someone you love, send a message to the chat right now that says yes. I am so jazzed about sharing this information with you today because this may be the only training you'll ever need to get in the driver's seat of your life while learning the whole spectrum of tools available to those who suffer from chronic Lyme disease. The effects of your participating in this event will be nothing less than life-changing. Your eyes will be open and you'll be able to look at the disease very differently than you did prior to this day. Before we begin, I want to tell you how grateful I am that you're here. And I can see that we have a packed house right now with all kinds of people. And I can see you all blowing up the chat lines with who you are, where you are, and what your association with Lyme disease is. So if you haven't done so yet, go ahead, chat me up. I see we have a bunch of people who are in the medical profession, some alternative healers, and a lot of people who've come who have Lyme disease. I just want to assure all of you that there's something coming up for you which will change your whole world. Now, I love you guys, and I wouldn't be sharing this information if I wasn't feeling love and excitement about looking at Lyme disease with new eyes. And I'm blessed to be able to share these tools with you today. Just as you guys know, I'm loving this as much as you guys are. Woot woot! Okay, I'm going to rock your sensibilities for a minute. If you've seen our videos on YouTube or viewed our info on social media or on TV, or if you've attended any of our live events across the nation, you know how passionate we are about getting the word out and that we're willing to share this information with you, even if it goes against the grain, because we've seen the massive change in people's lives, just like yours. Whether you're a victim or a practitioner, and you also know that we're going to back up what we say with compelling data. We're blessed to have helped thousands of people become more curious, do more research, take inspired action, have the courage to change the way they think, and to find freedom from Lyme disease and to share their message with others. We guarantee if you stay on for this entire program that you will hold in your heart and in your mind the tools and the knowledge you need not only to conquer Lyme disease, but see the world in a different way. You'll be able to realize that things are not always as they appear, and you'll be empowered by this because knowledge is the best medicine. If you're a doctor, some of this may be familiar overview, but if you stick with us, you'll learn about things you never knew were possible. And if you're a victim of chronic Lyme, you'll learn more about how doctors attending this event were trained, and more than you ever dared to imagine. Either way, we hope you have an open mind as we share how simple and inexpensive it can be to be free from Lyme disease, and we hope that you will join us in sharing this information with others. I see there are more people joining the event. If you haven't chimed in yet, send us a note telling us your first name, where you're from, and what your connection to Lyme disease is. Because I want to get to know you, and I want you to get to know me. Because we want this to be an interactive event, not some boring slideshow presentation. Seeing you guys participating keeps me jazzed about giving you all our best stuff. Just the fact that you're here and playing full on shows me that you're smart. You're not like other people. You have an open mind. You want to help others or yourself. You're either in a lot of pain or you work or know someone in a lot of pain, and now you will be able to do something about it. We have Della manning the incoming responses, and she'll be assisting us in keeping the line of communication open while we give you all our best stuff. Try not to be too hard on her, because she's here to help and answer your questions without interrupting the show. We have a lot of information to give you, so we have her to help keep up the pace to make sure you get everything we've got in the time we have to get her done. If you have really important questions, hold on, especially if Della thinks all of you could benefit from those, and we'll answer them right here, live, so everyone gets the value of answering your questions. Also, write down any questions you may have as we go through this information, because we have a private group which we will invite you to join where we can answer your questions in depth. We are honored to serve you in our full capacity, and anything you can save for the private group will help take some of the pressure off of Della, because she may be Wonder Woman, but there's only one of her here right now. So be gentle, because we wouldn't want to lose her. I see you guys tapping away already, and we just started. Love you, Della. Hang in there. Wow, I see we have a lot of people from outside the USA, like England, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Central and South America. Oh, and there's another one joining us from Singapore. I'm not sure what time it is in your time zone right now, but we are super impressed and blessed to have you on the call, wherever you're from. But those of you who should probably be sleeping, you get special props from me and all the team for joining us. Hang in there, and I promise we'll make it worth your while. We have a ton of people right now from the U.S., so I just want to let you know that you guys, all you are loved and supported by us, and we hope you're feeling the love and support, that it comes through, and that lives will be changed by the time we spend together over the next hour or so. Why are you here? Because you know that you, your patient, someone in your family, someone you know or care deeply about, is suffering from the long-term effects of Lyme disease, which, as you know, is enough to drive anyone crazy. Well, if you're not crazy, if you're in the healthcare industry and you're spinning your wheels trying to help your patients, we know how frustrating it can be when you're doing your best to serve your people, but nothing seems to break through and help them. And the misdiagnosis piece of chronic Lyme disease makes both of you, the doctor and the patient, upset, impatient, frustrated, and even angry. I just want to let you know that this is sacred space right here. There's no judgment. We love you no matter what side of the fence you're on, and we'll defend and protect you because we know this one thing for sure. Lyme is a nasty disease, and it will take you to your ultimate limits, whether you're a doctor who really wants to help your patients or a victim who feels like no one understands you and you're barely hanging on by your last thread. All I can say to you is hang on. Over the next hour, we're not only going to give you hope, but you'll have so much more to work with. I want to thank you, tell you how grateful I am, that we all are, that you haven't given up or thrown in the towel. Because we all know people who cashed out, given up, and even taken their own lives because they thought that was the only way to make it stop. Well, it's not the only way. You don't have to stand by while another patient commits suicide. And if you're thinking about taking your own life, we beg you, just hang on for a little while longer, and we believe you'll be able to see there are so many other options available for you. We love you, and we want you to hang out with us. And I just don't mean me and my team. I mean all of us who struggle in our own way to make the best of each day, and the people who would suffer without having you here on this planet, making the best of your life with us. So hang in there. This information's not for everyone, and because it's free, this ain't our first rodeo. So we know there are going to be people that we respect and so desperately want to serve. And there are also going to be haters out there who just want to spread hate and discontent. So if you're a hater and you just want to revel in your ability to put others down and destroy the lives of other people, just know this. We told you at the outset, this is sacred space where we protect and defend the people we love and care about. So we will limit your ability to participate, but we love the fact that you are here too. Because even if you're just looking for a way to stir someone else's pot or ruin someone else's life, hey, we'll give you more than enough ammunition to make fun of, ridicule anybody you want. But just make sure that you refrain from giving my assistant Della a hard time, because she'll boot you from the system, and you will not have been able to get all the information we have to share. If you're a hater, you might not care. But here's the deal. It might be all fun and games right now, but chronic Lyme disease is reaching epidemic proportions in the United States and abroad, and chances are it'll affect someone in your family or someone you care about deeply, if not yourself. So when the time comes, or you need it, we want you to have access to the whole enchilada. So hate if you want, but keep your trap shut while we spill the beans. That's why we have a heavily moderated private group set aside for anyone who wants to know more, because we maintain that as sacred space too. If you're suffering from chronic Lyme, we already know. You already probably suffered more than anyone else could possibly know, and we got your back. I wish there was some way that I could apologize for or somehow make it all better in some way for everything you've endured up to this point. But I can tell you this, because you're right here, right now, you're looking at getting well, really well, and becoming healthy and massively successful and happy, living your best life. There's no better revenge than showing the people who lost faith in you or didn't believe in you how happy and successful you can be. You got this, and we're going to show you just how to do that. You have the rest of your life to live, and you can start living it amazingly starting today and getting better and more better every day until you feel like your future was just as bright and incredible as before you ever got Lyme disease in the first place. And because you got Lyme disease, I can tell you this: the people who had it and got over it have a greater lust for life and squeeze more joy and love out of every drop of life than those who will never know what it's like to look the devil in the eye and kick his butt. Just saying. So starting today, right here, right now, the game changes. No matter who you are, mark this date on your calendar as the day your eyes and your heart were open and you got access to the tools, tips, and techniques which are highly guarded secrets of the most powerful and influential people on the planet. You can bet they don't suffer, and there's no reason why you or your patients should suffer either. For those of us in the service of others in pain, sometimes continued, long-standing pain, there's no better payoff than being able to watch somebody transform from living such a life, which often comes at great emotional and financial expense because Lyme disease, as it is in the real world, not the way the CDC reports it, is often not covered by health insurance. So because this is a long, drawn-out battle, and you have to pay every step of the way, it's not uncommon for sufferers of Lyme disease to lose everything. All their financial resources gone, filing for medical bankruptcy, and that's not all. They lose husbands, wives, families, and friends too, left with little or no way to support themselves as they get worse and worse. But to see these people change their lives so dramatically, this is why we do the hard work of putting ourselves out there and have the will to defend the front lines while we get the information out there. Because each one of you who gets a new lease on life or sees the light of unlimited possibilities, every magnificent transformation is what does it for us. This is why we do this. So this is for you. And just so you know, there are those of us who have worn the very same shoes you're wearing right now. So we get it. And nobody knows better than we do that a very exciting life waits for you on the other side of chronic Lyme disease. Who knows? Your miraculous transformation may be so great that you will join the ranks of those who now help support others and get the word out. Today, I want you to realize that the world is yours for the taking. And from here on out, you'll know, more likely, more than ever, that you can have it all. For now, take a deep cleansing breath. And exhale. As you open your heart and your mind to this new information, which is coming to you right now. So I'm going to give you, at no charge to you, the tools, tips, and techniques that will enable you to kick Lyme's butt once and for all. No more pain, no more drama, no more depression, no more fear. Starting right now, you can start living your new and best life ever, full of health and vitality, the drive and energy to have a quality of life that you only dreamed of if you dared. You can get back on that horse, get back everything you lost, and even more. Even more money, even more friends, closer bonds to those that you hold dear to your heart, more love and happiness than you ever thought possible at no charge to you. And if you're a practitioner, you will be able to give all this and more to your patients as they put chronic Lyme in their past, leaving it there, and start to begin living their life again, even better than they could have before, because now they are empowered. And they will know what it's like to be in the driver's seat. They will become the masters of their own destinies, knowing full well that they can overcome any obstacle that gets in their way. Once you've kicked Lyme disease, you know that nothing can stand in your way. We know that because we've been there, and we know what it's like. Oh, and as we say, there's even more we have planned for you. If you stay on and follow this presentation all the way to the end, there's a very highly held secret which we will reveal to you who have stayed on with us. So buckle up, Buttercup, and we're going to have some fun along the way. So here we go. Okay, I'm going to move through this as quickly as possible so we can get to the meat of what we want to share with you today. Oh, and if you don't know me, I should introduce myself. I am David Masters, and I work with the team here at Leading Edge University, located in Washington State, not the D.C., where my brother is. We're both in Washington, just the same, only different. I'm an instructor and master trainer at LEU, and I am joined today by high-ranking staff at LEU, Taylor Vance and Herb Roy Richards. And just so you know, Mr. Richards is the author of Lyme Disease, Non-Medical Diagnosis and Treatment. The book you can pick up at any bookstore, on or offline, including Amazon. And it's also available in Kindle format, which may be of interest to those who have Amazon Prime. Both Mrs. Vance and Mr. Richards have overcome Lyme disease, and they, along with myself and other team members at LEU, have successfully helped thousands of people rid themselves of Lyme disease. And today, we avail ourselves to fully disclose all the secrets we've uncovered to help others eliminate Lyme disease from their lives. Welcome to the show, Taylor.
Hello, David.
And Mr. Richards, who we lovingly refer to simply as Roy. So glad to have you both here today. Look, everyone's already chiming in on the chat. Looks like you're already making new friends.
How about that?
Hi, new friends.
So, Roy, you're the first one to discover that you had Lyme disease. Can you give us a brief rundown about how your journey with Lyme disease went?
This is not anecdotal. This is my testimony of how I got rid of Lyme disease. First thing I did was waste around $500 with an MD on tests and so forth that told me I had no problem. A total waste of money. Shortly after that, I read an article in Extraordinary Science and Technology magazine by a Dr. Korn from Arizona, who went from a busy practice to bedridden in just a few months. When I read his article, I was reading about my symptoms, so I knew what my wife and I had. I'd already heard horror stories about the regular treatments, so I already knew the MD's approach to Lyme disease didn't work, and I started looking for alternatives. By stirring around on the internet, I heard about a mineral solution that the American Society of Analytical Chemists say kills all known pathogens upon contact. I found a several month supply of it for $25, so we got started on our treatments. Within a couple of weeks, I could fully close my hands that had been swollen for 2 years with rheumatoid arthritis, supposedly. So I knew we were on the right track. We just continued to get better, and I want you to know it was a steady progression, not the constant worse alternating with better I hear about with conventional MD treatments. Most of the symptoms were gone within a few months, but we kept treating for a year or so to make sure. And then we took the treatment off and on, maybe a little bit once a day or so after that. We didn't have to have any insurance to do this because our total costs, except for what I wasted with the MD, was about the cost of a couple of meals at a good restaurant. In fact, with this protocol, even a homeless person could get rid of Lyme disease.
Now that's an amazing story, which led to writing your tell-all story in your book, Lyme Disease, Non-Medical Diagnosis and Treatment.
Oh, I kicked chronic Lyme disease in 1 year for pennies.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that in just a minute. So, Taylor, what did your journey with Lyme disease look like?
How did I know I had Lyme's disease? Well, I didn't know. Here's what I had. Years of digestive problems and acid reflux. I also had painful hip joints and knees, but when my legs became uncoordinated, I got worried. I found this out when Roy and I were clearing a hiking trail on our ranch. We were pushing brush around and we disturbed an underground yellow jacket's nest, and they came out swarming like crazy and we ran, except I could barely run because my legs were so uncoordinated. It felt really strange. So how did I know? How does anyone know? I did not know what I had. Lyme's disease is not very popular. There must be several hundred symptoms to Lyme's disease, and I was like you. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what it was. I had no idea what I had until Roy came down with a confirmed case of Lyme's disease. How did I get the sickness? It was not a mosquito either. I found out that the spirochete is the first cousin to syphilis and is highly contagious. I suspect that I contacted Lyme's disease from Roy. Most couples both have it if one has it. Sometimes all the family members have it, including the pets. Since we suffered so much with the Lyme disease, the thing almost destroyed us, but now we have our life back. And when we got over it, guess what? What's next is to help you guys.
Here at Leading Edge University, we have thousands of people, some of the very brightest, smartest, most technologically advanced people, including doctors and therapists, suffer the effects of Lyme disease and go from becoming severely reclusive and depressed, almost completely disabled, or comatose by chronic Lyme, to super amazing, fully alive, full of life, living a powerful life with all the benefits and advantages that come from coming out on the other side of Lyme disease as victorious, even better than they were before. This is why we do what we do.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's a blessing underneath the curse of Lyme disease. Once you've been there, you've looked death in the face and kicked its butt, and now you want to do whatever it is that can help others do the same thing. This thing that could have destroyed us gave us new life. It also gave us a zeal to do anything else to reach out to others who are in the same shape that we were in back then. You know, once you've had this Lyme disease thing and you kicked it, then from then on anything else is no problem.
So you could probably help anybody overcome Lyme disease.
There are some people we can't reach. It's so scary to think about doing something that your doctor would not recommend or knows very little about. But as time goes on, people are becoming more and more open to the idea of taking responsibility for their own health. And a wise doctor once told me there are really no uncurable diseases, just some uncurable people.
So these new methodologies are so out there, and by out there I mean outside the mainstream of medically trained thought process, that most people would reject them at first blush.
Well, first off, I should mention that I have several degrees and my doctorate is in natural nutrition from the College of Life Science. And I've been active in the health field for over 30 years, so I'm used to experimenting, and going off the beaten path is not unusual for me at all. After getting the runaround like I did, being misdiagnosed and treated for many diseases that I didn't have, when I first found out that I might have Lyme disease, I thought, what the heck? What does the CDC have to say about it? Then almost immediately I became aware of all the things you're not supposed to do, or the things that were banned by the FDA, and me being a closet scientist kind of guy, I guess, I thought, why not? And I took that as my cue as the first place to look, because I'd already been to the doctor, and where'd that get me? Nowhere, but in worse shape than when I got started.
And keep in mind that we need no disrespect for the medical community. We know you only know what you know. But every now and then, even a doctor comes down with Lyme disease and gets his or her world rocked with the constant drone and struggle of Lyme disease. So as much as you might feel like you've been betrayed by your doctor, or that you've been disrespected or even abused, you got to give them a break. Because they only know what they know, and they're doing the best they can with what they have. In most cases, doctors are not the evil money grubbers victims of Lyme disease make them out to be. They're just people like you and me, Taylor and Roy, just want to help people. And that's why they got into the healing arts. Not just to make money, but to help make the world a better place by helping people feel better and healing them, giving them a better quality of life. It's just not fair for you to judge each other that way. Just like if you're a victim of chronic Lyme, you wouldn't want your doctor to make fun of you, call you a kook, and want to put you on some kind of zombie medication just so you'll stop calling the doctor every time you start experiencing a new set of symptoms. Leading Edge University's Lyme Disease Alternative Medicine course is the only course of study designed for practitioners and victims, raising awareness about the complexities of Lyme disease and the many methods of cutting off the head of the Lyme disease beast, which seeks to destroy the lives of everyone it touches. Remember, it's the disease, not the participants, no matter what part you play, which is the common enemy of the doctors and victims of Lyme disease.
I felt it was on me to put a stop to the established myth that you could only get Lyme disease from a deer tick. Well, do any of you really believe that ticks are the only things that bite that infected deer? What about mosquitoes, fleas, and mites, just to name a few? Could you really believe those mosquitoes that suck that Lyme-infested blood won't give you an injection of Lyme also? The only unusual bite I got was from a mosquito. I remember I got a weird mosquito bite about 8 years before I got sick. And the reason I remember it is because it stayed red and swollen for over a month. It was 14 years after the bite before I found I had Lyme. And that's just my experience. And what about blood banks? With such a large proportion of our population with Lyme, do you think no one has given or sold blood loaded with the various bacteria that make Lyme so very hard to diagnose? They don't screen for chronic Lyme because it's an imaginary disease, right? So there's lots of ways to get Lyme disease. And how about sex? I mean, let's face it, one of the main things in Lyme disease is a spirochete, a type of bacteria. It's a cousin, real close cousin to the same kind of bacteria that causes syphilis. And you know how you spread that? I mean, it's spread by sex, and everybody knows that, but it's also can be spread by a kiss, drinking from the same glass, all kinds of things. So there's lots of ways to get Lyme disease. That's why an awful lot of people have Lyme disease that have never been bitten by anything.
So you said there were some people that you couldn't help along the way?
Unless the doctor himself had chronic Lyme disease back then, they would just refuse to listen to reason no matter how much proof we had to present. Well, you know how it is. You give them the truth of the matter, and most people were programmed to think that anyone who might disregard the warnings of the CDC or the FDA banning things was a conspiracy theorist or a nut job, and they would essentially slam the door in your face. So it was really hard to reach out to doctors who had far more potential to help many more people than we could. Then there were the poor damn victims, as I would call them, that would listen to what you had to say because they truly wanted to get better. But in the end, they would say, but I will have to check with my doctor first and see what he has to say. Then you knew there was little hope or no hope for that poor individual. But if your mind happened to be as effective as a functioning parachute, open and not closed, then you might be willing to do the research work and take the action necessary to take responsibility for your own healing. And for them, there was great hope, and many of them had great success.
So why is your approach so different from what the medical community has to offer in the treatment of Lyme disease?
Well, first off, this information is not only counterintuitive to the way doctors are trained to think and act, but we started to look in the very places the authorities told us not to look. And if there's any conspiracy in the matter at all, it is that the very alternative therapies which seem to work the best on victims of chronic Lyme are the ones they ban. And if you're a doctor and even think about suggesting a patient look into them, you are at risk of losing your license to practice medicine altogether. What kind of deal is that? Now, there is so much empirical data based on personal testimony and triumph that it is becoming more and more difficult for the powers that be to just simply sweep it under the rug and pretend it's not there. While the authorities still seek to disregard it, doctors, nursing staff, therapists, and practitioners among all health and wellness modalities are listening, and voices of victims who have fought the battle and won are being heard. Now, it's not enough to sway the authorities. They will continue to ban it and threaten to take your right to practice medicine away. But the people with their feet in the trenches, the ones doing the everyday work or helping these poor people in their endless struggle, are listening. They're attending our seminars, conferences, and they're taking the Lyme disease alternative medicine course, and they're making a difference in the world. No real doctor wants to make a patient's life worse. Not one. Yet here they find themselves shackled by the very institution they entrusted their career to, who threaten to take away their livelihood and everything they believe in, if they consider these things even for 1 second. One day, maybe we can be free from medical tyranny.
Well, and who suffers?
Well, anyone who has Lyme or has someone in a family that has Lyme or have a pet that has Lyme, everybody suffers. The whole world, all its peoples and the wildlife or pets, even the planet itself suffers, while some profit big time from the whole affair. And that's the problem. Those that profit big time from this whole deal. You keep treating someone for things they don't have. You can do that for a long time, and with the treatments very expensive. Look at the money those clowns make. There are more people being affected by Lyme disease now than ever, and the spread of the disease has reached epidemic proportions. And it's spread from person to person. Sure, somebody occasionally gets bit, but basically, Lyme is now spread from person to person, one way or another. So, especially in the European countries, they know how highly contagious the disease is. Yet in America, our governing body still insists that it is spread by being only bitten by a tick.
With all respect, the disease was initially spread by the bite of an infected tick. But since then, our awareness has become more advanced. And now we know that Lyme disease is a powerful contagion that, left to itself, could take out a large portion of our Earth's inhabitants. But not if you have anything to say about it.
And I do.
So you're saying that the authorities are poo-pooing the idea of these alternative therapies because there's no money in it for them. But aren't they there to protect and serve us?
Sure, if they can stuff their pockets with cold hard cash every step of the way.
Now, wait a minute. I'm talking about the government, not the pharmaceutical companies.
Is there a difference?
Well, I certainly hope so. Otherwise, wouldn't that be a conflict of interest?
That's not only a conflict of interest, that's against the contracts and bylaws that control our country, and it redefines our life as simply a for-profit venture, and it's not for our profit. Period.
That's a good place to put a period. So this is not an easy process.
Quite to the contrary. Defeating and eliminating Lyme disease is very simple and inexpensive. My wife and I took matters into our own hands and healed ourselves of Lyme disease for a couple of cents a day. It took us about a year to get it done, and we continued with a sort of a maintenance treatment for about another year to be sure.
Did you run into any snags along the way?
Sure, there were times we got sicker, but that was mainly due to the fact that we were killing off the Lyme bugs faster than our bodies could eliminate them. So we found ourselves kind of going through a detox phase periodically, mostly because we didn't really know what we were doing. We were just sort of making it up as we went along, because there was no history of treating Lyme disease with sodium chloride solution. So there was nothing there that we could go by, so we just sort of made it up as we went along.
But it worked.
It worked so good, was so effective, and so cheap, it was practically free. I think we maybe spent just under $100 to clear both of us from chronic Lyme. In about a year, no more Lyme.
That is breathtaking. Hey, are you guys still out there? If you want to hear more of the nitty-gritty, how Roy rid he and his wife of Lyme disease in less than 2 years for less than $100, type yes in the chat box. Else we'll just go on. Bam! I can tell just by the expression on Della's face. Hey guys, take a look at that. That's like hundreds of yeses. It looks like a machine gun going off. Hey Della, that thing's not going to explode, is it? And she says she doesn't think so. Okay, Roy. Looks like inquiring minds want to know. Can you give us the nitty-gritty on all the dirty little details of how you accomplished this feat?
I'm game if you are.
All right, let's do this thing. What's the secret down low to your success of winning that battle over Lyme disease?
Now you got to keep in mind that I'm not dispensing medical advice. I'm only telling you what worked for us. It's not the only way to get it done. Since we've been working with the chronically Lyme infected, we've found that so many people have found so many ways to get rid of Lyme themselves that it boggles the mind. It sort of makes you wonder why more people don't just get rid of it. We educate practitioners and victims on all the various ways to get rid of it that we know of. And I'll bet there are about 1 million more that we don't know about. Why? Because God doesn't want you to be sick. So He gave us everything we need not to be sick. It's all right here, some of which you might find growing in your backyard. That's what Big Pharma doesn't want you to figure out. So they'll make fun of you, call you an idiot, or a witch doctor, or a snake oil salesman, or say that eating that thing will kill you. They'll do just about anything to keep you from putting God's natural products, which are nearly free, in your own mouth. If my doctor prescribed a pharmaceutical solution, I might try almost anything before I took the med, unless it didn't work. But I can tell you this, God gave us the best dirt in the universe, full of minerals which are yearning to find their way into our bodies. That's what plants do. They break the minerals down into a small enough size to nourish our cells. Yeah, the plants are actually just little mining machines. They mine these minerals out of the ground, break them down small enough so they'll fit into our cells. That's where true nourishment comes from.
If we only knew.
If we only knew. If I knew then what I know now, I'd have been much better off, and my immune system probably would have been able to fend off the effects of that Lyme-infected mosquito bite. If my body had the best dirt, and by dirt I mean minerals, in it back then, but it didn't. So this is what we did. When it was confirmed I had chronic Lyme disease, I started looking for more sensible alternatives to the treatments that were recommended to me. We first tried essential oils, but all they seemed to do was quiet it down some. I still had this tremendous weakness. If I got down on the floor for something, my legs no longer had the strength to get me up. I'd have to crawl to where I could pull myself up and forget trying to run. About that time we found what most people call MMS, Master Mineral Solution. This is the stuff that the American Society of Analytical Chemists stated is the most powerful pathogen killer known to man. Because of that, it's used all over the world to purify water. A retired aerospace engineer named Jim Humble discovered that you could ingest very small amounts regularly and kill off any bacteria, virus, even oxidize their waste material, and get rid of heavy metals and most fungus with this stuff. Jim knew the money system of the world from his professional career, so he knew better than to announce his findings. Instead, he traveled all over the world showing small groups how to use it. Otherwise, he and his findings would have disappeared. Some things can be eliminated with the water purifier quicker than others. Remember, this is a broad-spectrum pathogen exterminator. Malaria is a good example of a quick fix. Even if you had malaria for years, you can get it clear gone in 24 hours or less. With our Lyme disease, we noticed change for the better in a couple of weeks. Now we found the source for those natural minerals that our body needs. It's sort of like if you got to fix your car. If you don't have the parts, there's no way you can fix it. Well, our body's the same way. If it doesn't have the minerals it needs, it can't fix the body. So this is why the body breaks down over time. It's not aging that gets us. It's not having the repair parts that gets us. And then the body substitutes things and so on and so forth, and pretty soon you've got aches and pains all over your body. It's just the way it is, and people don't know that. But if you don't have those minerals, and it takes 60 minerals and about another 30 combination of amino acids and vitamins and enzymes and so forth, and if you have those 90 or so products every day like we're supposed to have, our body wouldn't even get sick.
Della says they're asking, let's see, do I need to take the course to heal myself from Lyme disease?
Absolutely not. You can probably find 100 ways to heal yourself from Lyme disease just by searching Google. But within just a few minutes of browsing, you'll start to see the efforts of the system at work, as well as just haters in general stopping at nothing, who will say or post anything they can to make you believe that you might be crazy or even kill yourself if you try any of the unauthorized protocols. If you can persist to dig for something that resonates with you, you could find something easy and inexpensive to get you from where you are to where you want to be. But you must practice due diligence. If you're going to be your own healer, and if you're going to be breaking new ground, like I felt that Taylor and I were doing, you must be confident and brave enough to see it through. In that respect, you really are on your own. The advantage of taking the Lyme disease course is that you get the benefit of knowing everything that we know, and we'll be the first to admit that we don't know it all, but we do know the things that have worked over and over again for thousands of people in the world. Plus, the course is continuously updated as new information comes to light. We tell you what people have tried and was nothing short of a miracle, and we also tell you what people tried that didn't seem to have any effect, or possibly even made matters worse. That way you learn all that stuff.
Whoa, made matters worse?
Yes, if a number of people have tried something that promised positive results that backfired, then we're going to report that, so that more people can benefit from the mistakes made by others who went before. There is so much of this that is trial and error. Plus, what works for me may not work for you, because Lyme disease is a highly individualized disease, and it affects and responds to treatment differently for most anyone.
For instance?
Well, take a look at the standard medical protocol for treating Lyme disease, which includes the patients taking a regimen of antibiotics over a period of time. This works for patients if they are diagnosed soon after infection and has an efficiency of about 10%. If you're not part of that 10%, you're in trouble, like most of us.
Lyme disease can take a lot out of you and can put you at risk of losing everything you've worked your whole life to accumulate.
So many people have suffered financially and so many other ways too. My wife and I lost it all, found ourselves homeless, living in a bus in the woods. But even though we lost everything,
it's hard to imagine what it must have been like for the two of you to be run down and into the ground like that. I mean, you guys? Homeless?
Yes, but we wouldn't even let the worst of circumstances keep us down. This course is for doctors or anyone who has been dealing with the pain of having to live with long-term Lyme. And now you too can get your life back no matter how far you have fallen, and even so much more if you just keep an open mind.
Yeah, so this course is for anyone. And no matter who you are, we'll make sure you get through this process. And if you can stay to the end of this program, we'll make sure that you're taken care of. And we have people on standby who are ready to assist you, standing by to help you anytime, day or night. So, you do a lot of work with doctors?
I can tell you this, I have no beef with doctors. I know they're only doing the best they can with what they have. And for crying out loud, if these professionals did try to help us get over Lyme disease, they could lose their license and their livelihood. I understand what a difficult road doctors are having to walk down. I understand how frustrating it could be. And to be perfectly honest, I could have never gone through this process if it wasn't for these doctors doing the best they could. Submitting myself to the constant barrage of misdiagnosis and unnecessary treatments drove me to seek my own relief from Lyme disease. It come down to that, do or die. I really didn't have a choice if I wanted to live. So I took matters into my own hands.
And here you are now with no Lyme disease at all.
Totally cleared. And I owe it all to the fact that I tend to think outside the box. And the doctors did the best they could, but they just didn't have the information necessary to take care of Lyme disease.
So there are two ways you can get rid of the disease, right?
Well, like I said, there are probably hundreds, if not thousands, of ways to treat chronic Lyme disease and its symptoms. But to get rid of it entirely, you either get rid of it yourself or the disease stops for you when your heart stops beating. If you like being a victim, and some people do, or if doctors are the only people you have access to in your life who make you feel like your reason for living just might be keeping them in business, then the long drawn-out process of dealing with Lyme disease and all its many masks it uses to mimic the symptoms of so many unassociated diseases is just what the doctor ordered. But if you're like me, you know it's about time to take responsibility for maintaining your own health and well-being. So that's what we did. It took us a year and some ups and downs to figure out what worked best for us before we were confirmed to be totally free of chronic Lyme disease. But I can tell you this, we felt so much better and continued to feel better with each passing week. As we watched our symptoms decline in intensity, we saw our bodies and their immune systems gain strength and reach for their fullest potentials. I can't say it's the best way to deal with Lyme disease for everyone, because everyone is so different. And there are so many options out there. All I'm saying is that this is simple and inexpensive, and it's what worked for us. You have to do your own research and find out what works best for you. I know one thing, Lyme disease may consist of several different bacteria and a couple of viruses. Now, Anyone that doesn't believe that it takes a broad-spectrum pathogen killer to get rid of all of those symptoms got to be kidding themselves. You just have to figure out what works best for you. One thing about the water purifier, it doesn't cost much to try it for a few months, and if you start feeling better in a week or two, you'll know you're on the right track too. That's what we did. Nobody knows better than us when our body's feeling good or feeling bad. Certainly no doctor can tell us how our body feels.
That's why the Lyme disease course is so thorough. They discuss so many alternative medicines, treatment therapies, and healing modalities that there's something for everyone, no matter what you feel your limitations are. You get all the information, and it's up to you to figure out what you want to keep and use or not. At the very least, you'll have everything you need. Plus, for those of you who participate in our chronic Lyme disease groups, you will have access to all the latest and greatest tools, tips, and techniques just as soon as we hear about them in real time. No need to wait for the next course update. And if you get on the other side of this thing and you start to get your life back, you might just like to help others who are struggling with the same problems you and our guests today had to deal with. There's an opportunity for you to work with our team to help others that we will tell you about at the conclusion of the event. Are you content to live this life of pain for the rest of your life? Or are you ready to take back your life and help others do the same?
We want to not only help you get over Lyme disease and see this eradicated from your physiology, returning you to good health, probably better health than when you contracted the Lyme contagion in the first place. We also want to give you the tools you need to get you back on your feet by helping you get back on solid financial ground if you've suffered financially just like we did.
Yes, if you really want to get your life back, solve your financial problems, and help others in the process, you can do any part of what you think you need. Or you can have it all. We will help you do just that at the conclusion of this program. So stand by. You won't want to miss it. One of the things we teach you in the Lyme disease course is what the symptoms can look like. I mean, you have no idea. If you're a doctor and you're attending this event, you know you've seen victims come into your office with varying complaints that mimic different diseases. No one would blame you for doing your job correctly by reviewing their symptoms, making a diagnosis based on your research, and starting them on a protocol to treat them appropriately. We're all shocked and surprised to see so many people diagnosed and treated for a variety of disease.
There's nothing more frustrating for either anyone suffering from the disease or trying to help someone who is suffering from the severe pain and so forth that this disease caused. And if you're a doctor and you may have diagnosed them wrong, how frustrating is that? In fact, let's give them that part of the course right now.
Okay, you guys, you heard it from the horse's mouth. You can have that part of the course free for the asking. So if you want us to give you the top 50 symptoms of Lyme disease right now, at no charge to you, then let Della know by simply typing yes in the chat box. Oh man, you guys are on this. You guys just about knocked Della off of her chair. No problem. Keep them coming. She's recording all the yeses, and every one of you who types yes in the chat box gets that part of the course free. No more worrying or guessing. Being diagnosed with any of these diseases might indicate that you may have Lyme disease. If you've been diagnosed with 2 or more, well, now you will know. Lots of yeses still coming in. Keep going. No equipment crashing. We have several chat systems going. I'll tell you what, you keep yesing and we'll get back to you on the top 50 symptoms of Lyme disease. You know, our most valuable tool we provide you with when you've taken the course is our private support group. We have many doctors, students, those whose lives have been completely changed and transformed, and people who are currently in the depths of their struggling with the effects of chronic Lyme disease. Now, there are membership sites who charge good money every month to have access to this kind of venue, but not here. We provide all students to free live access to this group every day to answer any questions you might have about the course, or any question you might have about something that might not be covered with the course, or just hasn't come up yet. If you have a question about your own treatment, or if you're a doctor and you have a patient who has come to you for help and they're desperate and you need answers right now, you have access to our 24-hour hotline. No need to wait for help. If there's anything we can do to help, we're there for you, whoever you are, whenever you need it.
I can tell you, if you're a doctor and you have a patient who has Lyme disease in your office, there's such a good chance that we already know about what you're up against and know of someone who's overcome that specific obstacle. And in the rare instance where we may not have it documented, you're helping us and reaching out to our practitioners all around the world who will help you get the answers you and your patient are looking for, usually within about 24 hours.
Hey, Della says she has a handful of people asking if they can just pay for access to the doctors group right now. Sorry, Della, no can do. But thanks for asking, guys. You know, we're dedicated to maintaining safe and secure methods of protecting this information and the people who are involved in treating chronic Lyme disease, and especially those who are victims of the disease. We say this is safe and sacred space that we have set aside just for those who work the closest to us. And this area is heavily monitored and moderated to protect all those involved so that no further victimization takes place. And the integrity of the participating doctors are protected so as not to put their careers at risk. Again, this group is free for anyone who attends the course and is not available separately. So we protect the doctors and the patients so that a safe and sacred trust relationship may be maintained, protecting the doctor-patient confidentiality via this highly protected and guarded group. A huge part of our mission is to protect all the participating members and safeguarding both the professionals and those suffering with chronic Lyme disease. No one can threaten, harass, or have access to your private information. I think you can understand, right? I mean, if you're using this tool in your practice or as a safe place to transfer your most intimate details, you'd want it to be highly protected also, right? So go ahead and type "I get it" in the chat box so that we know we can continue to trust you with this information. Okay, Della says we're getting some "I get it" trickling in now. And the result of the top 50 misdiagnosed diseases are in, and almost everyone opted in for receiving that part of the course. So what do you think?
Well, I think everyone should get it.
Okay, you heard it for yourself. We have a lot of ground to cover, so we'll make sure everyone who makes it to the end of today's webinar will get a copy of the top 50 symptoms of Lyme disease. So stay tuned. We love you guys. So tell us, Roy, if you had any heavily guarded secret that could potentially wipe out Lyme disease once and for all, what would that be?
Well, it's not really a secret anymore, because I talk about it in my book and tell as many people as I can about it. So I'd have to say the most powerful tool anyone could have that they could hold in their hands would be MMS, a simple water purifier.
Now, why is that?
Well, the only reason I say that is because it's an effective all-in-one tool which can include the non-medical diagnosis and elimination of Lyme disease. And to my knowledge, no other product can do that, because this is a wide-range pathogen killer which wipes out Lyme disease just like that. Sure, it takes you a few months, but that's a lot better than years of trying various things and getting misdiagnosed and so forth. And the reason is, and most people don't know this, Lyme disease is not just a disease which is a tick-borne thing consisting of a spirochete named Borrelia burgdorferi. Dr. Burgdorfer did discover one of the components which was named after him, and that was quite a feat in 1982. But as we now know, Lyme disease is a toxic hybrid, of which this particular spirochete is only one of the ingredients. The Lyme disease cocktail consists of 2 spirochetes, 2 viruses, and 2 different bacteria, which results in this crazy thing that is hard as hell to fight. And it was designed to be a biological weapon created right here in America as a designer contagion, which was virtually untreatable, debilitating, and had painful symptoms, and use them as a carrier of the disease to finish infecting the rest of the population. It's a brilliant design, really, but one that unfortunately backfired on the United States, and now it is spreading rapidly all over the world.
So this toxic cocktail was engineered to be a weapon designed for biological warfare and launched to take out an entire population? And all you'd have to do is airdrop a bunch of ticks and let the thing run its course?
That's right, and that's exactly what they did. They tested it in the sugarcane fields over in Cuba, and what they did is they dumped it out of an airplane as they flew low over the cane fields, and it's continuing now to spread all over the world. I think that's the reason why the USA covers up how contagious it is, because they'd have to pick up the bill for infecting their own people with it. While in other nations, they know how contagious it is, and that's how they monitor and treat it.
Yeah, I heard that Lyme disease is not covered by medical insurance.
Not in the USA, because you're warned by the FDA and the CDC that it is a risk you take for going outdoors, hiking, camping in the woods, or anywhere else you might be exposed to a potentially infected tick. The United States is the only country who still refers to it as a tick-borne disease. And I see all these websites where they want you to join their Lyme disease forum and so forth, and they're still calling it a tick-borne disease. Also, it is very good business to have a growing portion of the population which is supporting the medical community with a variety of drug-consuming and surgical patients with a wide range of medical conditions to which there are a typical symptomological match. All these unnecessary treatments and surgeries are medical cash cows.
Well, if that's true, I can see how dismal the outlook could be.
That's why we have to get this information out there to the people. There are so many people who have death knocking at their door just like we did, and that's why we do the work that we do, because it is needless suffering. And we do whatever we can to help these people get their lives back before they get to the place where they feel they just can't go on one more day.
So you think suicide is a part of the symptomology of Lyme disease?
I'm telling you right now that there are people attending this seminar who have already made plans to take their own lives.
Oh, geez, I'm so sorry. We don't want to drag anyone down right now. If anyone's thinking about taking your own life, you're under no obligation to let us know in the chat box. Please do not do this. I lost someone very near and dear to me to suicide, and I can't tell you how horrible that could be and how it changes the lives of those around you forever. Please, before you do this, at the very least, call the suicide prevention hotline. We're getting the number for you right now.
David's right. Please don't kill yourself. Call us first, and we'll help you kill off the disease.
All right. Well, I had no idea it was going to go this way. Dell is confirming there's a lot of people attending this event who are admitting to having suicidal thoughts. Look, here's the number. The number for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 800-273-8255. The number for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 800-273-8255. That number is again 800-273-8255. We're putting that number up on the screen for you so you can jot it down. Please don't do this. At the very least, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 800-273-8255 or call us here at the number we're going to provide to you at the end of the show when we wrap it up. Especially if you're thinking about taking your own life due to the effects of chronic Lyme disease. Man, I apologize for this little trip down the rabbit hole. We didn't plan that. It just happened. No, for those of you who spoke up in the chat, I will be saying a prayer for you, as well as those who didn't speak up. Please know that you are loved, and there is hope for you. Please talk to someone. I'm sorry for going there, but it just goes to show how awful things can be. I just want to let you know that I mean no disrespect by continuing, but we have a lot of information to get out there, so stand by. We'll give you a number. You can reach us after we finish up here. Okay. So what's next? So Roy, if we can get back to what you were saying about this being a complex contagion, which has like all these misdiagnoses, what's the scoop on that?
We just wrapped up a Lyme disease conference where we identified 100 of the most popular misdiagnoses for Lyme disease.
Obviously, we don't have time to review them all right now. Are they included in the course?
The course would be incomplete without it. Doctors and patients both need to be aware. If you're looking at someone who has been diagnosed with 2 or more of any of the diseases on this list, well, think about it. Who could be that disease inclined really? You're probably looking at someone with Lyme disease right now.
Hey, Della just slipped us a note. Looks like we're seeing people who want us to take the time out to share those 100 misdiagnosed diseases.
I just don't see us having time to do that.
Me either. Can we add it to our bonuses at the end of the event to kind of sweeten the pot?
What do you think, Taylor?
It's really important. Let's go ahead and include that for you as well.
Okay, you heard it live. You're also getting the top 100 diseases that people with Lyme disease get diagnosed with. That's wrong! Just remember, if you have 2 or more of these, get checked out to see if Lyme disease is the actual culprit you're up against. And that brings us to testing. Roy, is there a decent standard test that works to determine if anyone has Lyme disease?
There is a basic test or number of test steps that you can go through, which you can take through your doctor's office. The first one is the Alicia test, which tests you for antibodies for the Burgdorferi spirochete. If you test positive there, if you have the antibodies, then they run the next 2-step test in that series called the Western blot test, which tests for proteins associated with the spirochete. But you already know that there's another spirochete as well as 2 more bacteria and 2 viruses which are ignored as part of this testing.
Nonetheless, these tests do seem to correctly identify about 10% of the victims of Lyme disease, right?
Right, and even so, these test results, which come from the labs like Quest Diagnostics, BioReference, and LabCorp, are notorious for having both false positives and false negative results. But there are other testing options.
Oh yeah? What are they?
Well, first, the Clinical Immunology Laboratory in Stony Brook, New York, uses the same test your doctor uses, but they test outside the boundaries of the protocols prescribed by the CDC, which only authorizes testing for 2 of the 3 bands associated with the known spirochete. They get away with this because Stony Brook is an independent and accredited lab which is part of the Renaissance School of Medicine at Stony Brook University. So it makes a difference if you send a traditional test to the right lab, you could get more accurate results. And there is Igenics in Palo Alto, which is reportedly more accurate, and they only test for 1 band, which would get you denied for treatment by using a CDC protocol for diagnosis. And there are many other tests which might be available through your naturopath or alternative health professional, but many of these tests are banned by certain states, so you might have to shop around to find a way to have access to these alternative tests. Or you can do what I do.
What do you do?
Well, I use the only positive test that I know of, and that is to start treatment with MMS. That's the best test there is. Because if you start getting better, you've hit the right thing, and that's all you need to know. It doesn't make a darn bit of difference what name they put on your disease. The thing you're after, I'm sure, is to get rid of it. So I just go right straight to the Lyme Disease Protocol 1000. And, if you start feeling better, getting better in a couple of weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks, that's the best test there is. And you skip straight to intervention, and the patient gets massively better. MMS, or water purifier, whatever you want to call it today, is a powerful broad-spectrum pathogen killer which wipes out the whole Lyme disease cocktail. That makes a lot more sense to me than trying to pick out one particular bacteria that you're trying to kill, or virus, or fungus. Who cares what the brand name of the thing is? All you want to do is get rid of it, get your body back in shape. It's a real simple thing. That's the best test I know of for Lyme disease.
Now, we're not dispensing any medical advice here, just information. You have to check out this information for yourself, exercising your due diligence, and make a decision for yourself based on your own research. You are listening to Roy Richards, our guest today, who is sharing his own personal story, which is also featured in his book, Lyme Disease, Non-Medical Diagnosis and Treatment. The Lyme disease course is revered for offering the full spectrum of healing modalities which apply to the Lyme disease conundrum. What all is included in the full course material?
The course doesn't cover everything, or it would virtually never end, but we include the top resources, introducing health professionals and victims to a wide range of options to investigate and see what they want to go with. We start with the standard diagnosis and treatment of Lyme, which is remedial training or a quick review for health professionals. And this is very helpful for victims of Lyme who feel like they've been abused by the medical system. It's just not true, or at least there's no intent to be abusive. Medically trained doctors only know what they know unless they've attended this course. No matter how bad you feel, your doctor's not trying to hurt you or cause you pain, even though it may feel like that's what's been happening. Once you understand what your doctor's been told and the complex nature of this toxic bioweapon, you can hardly blame them. For they know not what they do, they're just doing the best they can with what they have.
Hey, would you guys like to know what else they cover in the course? If you'd like to hear more about the stuff which may be considered outside the box of traditional medicine, type yes in the chat box, if you dare. How we doing over there, Della? She's saying responses all over the world want more. So we're going to move along really quickly now, so if you're taking notes, hopefully you can follow along. The next area we look at in alternative medicine is the therapeutic action you can take to help battle Lyme disease naturally, which seem to help enhance any antibiotic regimen that you might be engaged in while you're battling Lyme disease in tandem with your doctor. In this portion of the course, we look at things like diet and exercise, building your immune system using supplementation like vitamins and minerals, and taking better care of yourself overall. These are all approaches to expanding your ability to combat the disease, which your doctor will support fully. Now, if you're ready, we're going to start moving outside of the box. Are you ready? If you're ready to keep moving along, type the word READY in the chat box. So what's it look like over there, Della? Okay, she's giving us 2 thumbs up. So strap yourself in, because we're going to take a look at the first step outside the box. Okay, your first step outside the box include introducing you to the out-of-the-box testing facilities which are utilized by holistic practitioners. We also look at things like changing to a natural diet, using probiotics, using herbs, minerals, and other alternative treatments and approaches which may include things like mushrooms, charcoal, clays, essential oils, and changes in lifestyle, including stress reduction. Most anyone could embrace those ideas if you could easily wrap your head around any of those things, right? It just makes good sense. But what about those methodologies which are banned by the FDA and the AMA? Are you brave enough to discover what are the top treatments which are rejected, forbidden, or banned? Type yes if you want it. This is my favorite part of the course. How about you, Roy?
Absolutely. Remember, as far as I'm concerned, if the, quote, system, unquote, says that something is banned, it's probably because it interferes with the sales of patented pharmaceuticals. So that's the first place I'd look. Always check out the banned stuff and get more information.
Looks like the yeses are in. Thanks, Della. Here we go. Banned Lyme disease interventions include... If you're not taking notes, you should be. Be sure to write down this list so you can better research these items on your own. Hey, Roy, I see that MMS made the list of banned protocols. How do you feel about that?
I'll tell you how I feel about it. If I had no morals, and if it was my job to promote the use and profiting from patented pharmaceuticals, and to prevent the use of anything natural that might be extremely inexpensive and more powerful than anything Big Pharma could come up with, MMS would be the first thing I'd put people in jail for using, if I could.
Della says, Timothy Johnson from Albuquerque. He wants to know if he's going to prison for using MMS on his own.
Well, we still live in the greatest country in the world, and they ban you from doing a particular thing, but if you're an adult and you can keep it to yourself and not go blabbing about it all over the internet, they're going to ignore you if you're ignorable. In this country, you can pretty much treat yourself any way you want as long as you don't broadcast it all over town or make a big deal about it. And a little information leak can instantly be spread around the world. So exercise caution, and be cautious enough to refrain from treating any minor with any banned methodology, because the state could step in and take your children away. And of course, if you're a medical doctor, don't speak of banned therapy because it may put your ability to practice medicine at risk.
All right, boys and girls, keep this on the down low, okay? Okay, we're running out of time, so we got to start wrapping this up. I just want to let you know that we're also taking a look inside the course, and energy medicine is also covered.
And I've got to say, we're seeing a huge growth in the energetic healing arts and how it helps people recover almost miraculously from using the energy healing modalities on their bodies. Energetic healing can raise their life force energy level, and that helps healing.
Why do we answer the call to help others afflicted with chronic Lyme disease? Because we know what it's like to suffer from chronic Lyme. We know what it's like to be rejected by your doctors, family, and friends because you can't possibly be this sick, especially if you've been diagnosed with more than one dreadful disease. We know what it's like to have a nice family, home, car, material belongings, family, and friends, and to lose it all. Everything due to Lyme disease. We've seen so many people find freedom from Lyme disease from one of the most bizarre ways. We thought there was no way we couldn't bring all this information together in one place. If you're a medical professional attending this webinar, how would you feel to see your patients who have struggled so much to find relief from these wildly varied diseases? Take a moment to look inside and imagine what that might look like. And if you're a victim of chronic Lyme, close your eyes and imagine what it might look like for you not to be sick anymore. What would that look like? Okay, let's have a little fun with this. If you can imagine what life might be like for you or your patients to live without being hounded relentlessly by Lyme disease, type one thing that might be different for you and your patient into the chat box right now. It might be really hard for you, whether you're a doctor or a patient, to imagine life without Lyme in any way, because you've been told that Lyme disease is incurable, and chronic Lyme is just something you have to learn to live with for the rest of your life.
Lyme disease can be a life sentence of degeneration, disease, and even premature death, if you let it be that. But now, in light of everything we know about Lyme, what it is, how it works, we definitely know beyond a shadow of a doubt that anyone can defeat Lyme disease. And Lyme disease certainly doesn't need cured. We simply want to get rid of it. In fact, another meaning for cured, is to treat something to enhance it, to make it last longer, like curing or smoking things like meat, fish, tobacco, or an animal's skin, to make it better, make it last longer, keep it from spoiling. I'd think that would be the last thing you'd want to do with Lyme disease. On the other hand, if you'd like to get rid of it forever, that's what we help you do, just like my wife and I did, without having to watch our life savings dwindle away or any dependence on the medical community to tell us what to do, especially when it's obvious they don't know what's going on, and they don't even realize they're dealing with a bioweapon. And all of us who get Lyme are simply collateral damage. In fact, I don't ever try to cure any disease. I simply want rid of them.
That's a good point. Though it is a common parlance of the healthcare industry. Why don't you tell us what you want? Do you want Lyme disease to be cured? Or would you like it to be gone forever? Write your choice in the chat box, cured or gone forever. Either way, the only way you're going to do something against what your doctors, friends, and family say about it is because you're reaching the end of your rope. Well, you just continue to hang in there because we've seen thousands of people get rid of Lyme disease, and you can too. Just by attending this webinar, you've reached out in faith. You sacrificed of your valuable time to be here, and you're looking for inspired action. You can take your life back and enjoy a far better, meaningful, happier, longer life. There are so many different ways to overcome Lyme. We hope that you come and enjoy this groundbreaking therapeutic science. So, are you ready to find out all the groundbreaking leading-edge technologies related to defeating the Lyme disease beast? This information is for doctors and healthcare professionals, which enables them to better work with and treat their patients who are suffering from Lyme disease. Now, we're not asking anyone to put their license to practice medicine at risk. Get the information. Then you'll be able to know how to respond to your patient when he or she says that he or she has found one of these alternative medicines. You may not have the ability to acknowledge your awareness of the alternative medicine, but you can allow your patient to do their own discovery by being certain to check in with you regularly throughout the process to make sure nothing is going sideways. It is so much better to maintain the doctor-patient relationship while the patient is exploring other non-medical avenues to deal with their chronic Lyme disease, right? If you're a victim of chronic Lyme disease, you want to work with a doctor who's aware of non-medical Lyme disease modalities. He or she may not be fully aware, but they're open and aware enough not to have to curtail your relationship altogether with them. You don't have to make a choice between medical and alternative therapies. Both can coexist, but it takes your finding a physician or healthcare professional with an open heart and an open mind. Can I get your permission to share our Lyme disease alternative medicine course with you right now? Come on, tell me. Do I have your permission? Hey, Della says you guys are blowing up the platform again. Okay. All right, I get it. We're getting jazzed to give you all we got, so we're not holding anything back. We're so excited right now because this is what we live for. For the doctors and healthcare professionals, we're so blessed to be able to share this information with you. You are the professional men and women who are changing the world and making it a better place. You're on the front lines, and the victims of chronic Lyme disease, they seek you out first. You are their first line of defense. We have the privilege of working with the brightest, most educated, and intuitive professionals in the field. And we know the sooner we look for chronic Lyme disease, the more of a blessing you will be to the victims of Lyme disease. God bless you for going forward on this journey with us. For those of you who are victims of chronic Lyme disease, you are the reason we do this work. We love the thousands of stories we hear from people just like you, just like us, who have kicked Lyme disease once and for all. No more putting you down, disrespecting you, dishonoring you, or trying to make you feel bad for feeling bad for crying out loud. Are you kidding me? Who does that? I am so surprised how people go out of their way to make someone feel bad who's already feeling like they can't take one more thing. And here you are, staring one more thing in the eye of someone you really care about. Thanks, but no thanks. There's nothing here but love, compassion, support, and hope for a life free from Lyme disease. Thank you for being so courageous. Okay, Della has been collecting all of your comments and questions, and Taylor's picking them up and bringing them over so we can share those with you. Let's see what we have.
Hey guys, comments are coming in. Sam says, I have a burning sensation going from my hips down to my toes. Feels like the worst sunburn. Does anyone else have this symptom? Alicia says, my legs feel so uncoordinated. I'm almost unable to walk. Mike comments, I've spent $40,000 in the past 20 months on testing and procedures trying to figure out what was making me so sick. Can you help me? Well, yes, Mike. We do have the $25 Lyme disease test. It's listed on Google search on the internet. Carmen says, I'm in so much pain and nobody believes me. Terribly frustrating. Yes, Carmen, you're not alone. There will be help in our Lyme disease course. There will be many alternative people there to help you. Margot says, I awake from a deep sleep. My heart is pounding, and I don't know where I am. I may be having a heart attack. Margaret comments, I saw 15 doctors before I was diagnosed. This is crazy. The doctors need some education. Yes, Margaret, we agree, and that's one reason we have our Lyme disease course. Mac says, my right shoulder hurts, and now I have limited use of it. My wife has to help me dress and undress. Here's another comment from Herbert. I have sleep apnea, and my wife gets really upset because she cannot sleep if I'm not breathing. That's what she says, anyway. Okay, Herbert. We also found that sleep apnea is a symptom of Lyme's disease, and we have those water purification drops you might like to try. We have a comment from Nikki. My knees ache like rheumatoid arthritis, and my hips hurt, and it's so hard for me to get up and down. I have to crawl to the staircase to pull myself up. Oh, here's another sunburn symptom. Lisa comments, I have sunburn-like pain across my upper back. And Annie comments, I honestly feel like my brain is on fire. Well, that's all for now.
Most people don't really realize why Lyme disease is so hard to diagnose. I'll try to put a little bit of light on that for all of you folks. And here's the thing. We all know now that there's quite a package of bacteria and virus and so forth put into those ticks all those many years ago by the Defense Department. And that by itself would make it hard to diagnose. But there's another factor nobody's mentioned. And that is, all of these bacteria and viruses and so forth are opportunistic organisms. In other words, they're going to go to the weakest spots in everybody's body that they get into. So by going to the weakest spots, everybody has different weak spots. So you can have a whole family of people, and each one of them have entirely different symptoms. And that's one of the things that makes it really, really hard to diagnose, because the weak spots show up as way different symptoms. Now, that's the factor that nobody has taken into consideration when they're talking about Lyme disease. So every one of those weak spots on a person is places where the Lyme disease form a little colony. And once those bacteria form that colony, that's going to give a certain set of symptoms, because no two people have the same weak spots. So you can find a whole family of people have Lyme disease, and every one of them have been diagnosed with a different disease because they have different weak spots, and those bacteria congregate in those weak spots and cause the problems. So this is one of the reasons why it takes a broad spectrum pathogen killer to get rid of the thing, because those Lyme disease bacteria go to the weakest spot in somebody's body. Therefore, everyone can have different symptoms with the same problem. Now, I know for myself, I had rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia, according to the doctors, and my wife had it also, but she had severe digestive problems. Now, no doctor, I don't care if he's allopathic or chiropractor or homeopathic or whatever, no doctor would have considered that we both had the same problem.
And as promised, and I will tell you, that we always deliver with strength and honor. This is important business to us, and it's important to proceed with integrity. So I want to remind you about the bonuses you will be receiving today, just because you're attending this webinar. And to show you how grateful we are that you joined us here today. Your first bonus, while it may not apply to you, is of huge importance for victims of chronic Lyme disease who have suffered financial hardship. It is not uncommon for you to lose all your financial well-being due to your struggle with Lyme disease, just as Taylor and Roy did. So they are including their $795 financial assistance package absolutely free, just because you joined us here today. And you're also getting the top 50 symptoms of Lyme disease, as well as the top 100 misdiagnoses of Lyme disease. That's an $889 value of free bonuses just for you attending today. And if you're suffering from chronic Lyme disease, and you're feeling the pain of being wiped out financially, which makes things so many times worse, not to worry. Taylor and Roy have gotten back on track financially and help other victims of Lyme do the same thing. Today, you get this free just for staying with us through this program. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the free bonuses you will receive today. But wait, there's more. Okay, if you act during the webinar, you're going to not only get the Lyme Disease Alternative Medicine course, we've compiled a list of bonuses that are incredible resources for any Lyme disease expert. Besides this course, you're also going to be receiving 3 other substantial courses free of charge. There is the Alternative Lyme Disease course, which is another course with even more data about the diagnosis and treatment of Lyme disease. It sells separately for $1,497. Then, everything you wanted to know about band technologies, but were afraid to ask, is revealed in the Band Therapeutic Technologies course, which fully exposes the most popular therapeutic technologies, and specifically, how to use each one to treat Lyme disease. This course is $1,997. The Healing Energy Medicine Technology course delves deeply into the mysteries of the energetic healing modalities, what they are, how they work, and how to apply them to your symptoms, whatever they may be. This course is $2,497. The combination of all 4 courses, the Lyme Disease Alternative Medicine course, the Alternative Resources Lyme Disease course, Band Therapeutic Technologies course, and Healing Energy Medicine Technology course, makes this the most comprehensive offering for anyone who is an expert on Lyme disease. Then, to top it off, our guests today, Taylor Vance and Roy Richards, are offering a 30-minute consultation for which they charge $809. This is a live call, is not pre-recorded, and could include any personal one-on-one consultation which might be laser-focused on whatever you need help with. That's a total value of $11,297. And you get it all. But because you're here today, you're not going to pay that. Here's what you get. You get the Lyme Disease Alternative Medicine course with all the bonuses we've already thrown in, including the private group and lifetime access to the course and all updates. Now that's a $4,497 course. And just because you're here on this webinar right now, we're giving you a $3,000 discount, which brings your cost down to only $1,497. But you also get the Alternative Resources Lyme Disease course, which sells separately for $14.97, the Band Therapeutic Technologies course, which you would have to pay $19.97 to attend any day of the week, and the Full Spectrum Healing Energy Medicine Technology course that runs $2,497, and you get all 3 of these bonus courses at no charge to you. With the Lyme Disease Alternative Medicine course and all 3 free courses, which are being offered as bonuses for you, just because you are here right now, makes this the most comprehensive offering for Lyme disease experts in the world today. And if that wasn't enough, Taylor and Roy are offering a full one-on-one consultation with you if you take advantage of this offer today, an $809 value. And you get it all. You get the course, and we're offering you a $3,000 cash discount if you act today. The 3 additional free courses and 30 minutes with Taylor and Roy Richards, a value of $11,297, all for only $14.97 if you can take action today. I gotta say, reaching out for an unconventional answer when you were diagnosed with fibromyalgia and then found out it was Lyme? What made you seek alternative medicine as a treatment option for your Lyme disease?
I guess my interest in alternative health goes back to losing my wife to cancer. She lost her battle by following traditional methods of treating cancer. You can't do that and survive. That never sat right with me. I now know there could have been many things we could have done. That was when I began my journey into alternative ways of dealing with pain, suffering, disease, premature aging, and so forth. I studied health and natural nutrition at the College of Life Science, and this is what opened my mind to all the many ways there are to treat any sickness or disease. The source of all life provides us in nature with all the stuff we need to take care of our bodies. We're surrounded 24/7 by natural medicines to heal anything that ails us. And it takes very little to take care of all the natural things that are available to help take care of the body. Our ancestors knew all this, but the corporate pharmaceutical giants will do everything they can to cover this up. That's why all this information is almost extinct. They try to tell you that trusting in God's natural cures is crazy talk. It's unsafe and could potentially kill you. The pharmaceutical treatments have killed more people than anything else ever thought up. Far more than the wars, believe it or not. No matter what they say, there it is, coming out of the ground or gently tucked away beneath the surface, waiting to help you. Once I really realized this, I wanted another chance to help my wife who I'd lost to cancer. If I knew then what I know right now, well, it's too late for her, but it took losing her to wake me up to these alternative therapies. That was when I dedicated my life to helping others. After I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and rheumatoid arthritis at the same time, and later found out that my wife and I were both suffering from Lyme disease, my instincts told me to seek first a natural alternative. And it turned out I was right. I was studying MMS at the time, and I thought it might be helpful, so we tried it, and it worked. And all the time, the governing agencies kept reporting there was no known cure for Lyme disease, like it was a life sentence. When the doctor tells you you got 6 months to live, that's the time to be looking around for something else to try. You got nothing to lose, right? Then share your story with us, and we can pass it on to help others. We're always looking around for testimony about what gets rid of health problems. And like we didn't really just try MMS, we used it. And we just kept right at it till, within 2 or 3 weeks, I noticed a tremendous difference. I could close my hands again after a couple of years of them being swelled so they wouldn't clear clothes. That told me we were on the right track. Main thing is, if you've found something that works for you, give us a testimony about it. Share your story with us.
We have a 14-day money-back guarantee, so you can try the course completely risk-free. Keep an open mind and heart. Let this invaluable information pour over you. And if it doesn't help you to start looking for answers outside the box, or doesn't give you important tools and information for better interacting with your Lyme disease patients, we'll give you your money back. Simple as that. And I don't know of any other college or university that offers a money-back guarantee. Do you? That's the philosophy that I will always live by, because I want to enable people to actually have the resources to invest in themselves, to change their lives, the lives of others, and the world at large. Oh, we're not going to charge you $11,297. Just because you've stood beside us today and followed along through this event, today, we're going to do something very special, and something we may never offer again, guys. Because I want to make this opportunity possible for anyone and everyone to change their life and make the world a better place. And so what I'm going to do, literally today only, is to drop the price, and you get it all right now, for only $14.97. A one-time payment for a lifetime access to the Lyme Disease Alternative Medicine course, which is constantly being updated consistently and frequently, updated with all the latest news and the results as it becomes available. And again, guys, if you have any questions whatsoever, reach out to Taylor or Roy on Facebook, and they're available to you via phone, always available to those of you who join us today. And before I forget it, my friends, make sure you check out your email, because we'll be sending you an email out to you that should arrive within the next hour, and it contains all of your bonuses. So check your email for sure. Make sure that you do go and claim your free bonuses from our training today, because it's massively incredible and valuable. I'm looking over Della's shoulder, and I already see a ton of orders coming in. I can't wait to see everything the world has in store for us in the near future. And I believe you will be truly blessed for taking this huge step for the greater good. It isn't about us or you as much as it is for the hundreds of thousands who are just now finding out they might have Lyme disease. Well, this might be the fastest I think we've ever filled the bonus slots. They're starting to go so quickly right now. Thank you so much. I promise you guys, as you work with us, we will do our absolute best to make this work for each and every one of you who's stepping out to embrace your higher calling right now. So make sure you are taking advantage of this offer right now, because it's never going to be available anywhere else ever again. And I'm not honestly sure when we're going to be able to shut down this training. So this might be the absolute last time that you're actually available to enter into it. And we do it this way, guys, because we want to reward people who do join our trainings and are ready to invest themselves and their futures and the future of a better world with your participation in this most exclusive content. We want to make sure that people who are ready to invest in themselves and others have the best resources and knowledge and tools and bonuses to make things work the fastest. And we're so excited to start working with every single one of you that we're daring to step out in faith with you in this moment. Whoa, I see a bunch of you guys signing up right now. This is such a blessing for us to be able to have this kind of effect on the medical community and those who are reaching out to help themselves and others in such a big way. And I'm so excited about meeting each and every one of you and working with you one-on-one. This is why we do this. It's in service to you, others who are suffering, and the world. Thank you so much for joining us in this fight against Lyme disease here and all around the world. We have a private group, and I see that there's some of you who are already signing into that group that's provided exclusively for students of the course only. And I'm seeing questions coming in about the course. And I will go ahead and share these with you who have stuck by us here. Like, let's see. Yes, we have a ton of videos for students of the Lyme disease class, but there are also transcripts and lots of data available in the PDF format for students only. Let's see. Yes, there are step-by-step tutorials, and they are available in both formats because we know some of you like to watch, some of you like to read. We're all about finding the best way to make the information available to you in the best way possible. This private group area is the place where you can send us your most complex questions, the biggest obstacles you face, the stuff that confuses you or you just can't seem to break through. We are here to answer your questions, solutions, and ideas to wrap your head around and your heart around this important information. If you're working hand in hand with someone who suffers from chronic Lyme disease, we are here to help you move through this process. If you've got chronic Lyme disease, we've got your back. And you will be meeting Lyme disease qualified doctors and healthcare professionals directly inside this group. Exciting things happen inside the group as doctors interact with other doctors and patients interact with other patients. We are seeing people every day sharing testimonials of their conquering Lyme disease once and for all and moving on with their lives in ways they'd forgotten ever possible. This is the work that you are joining us in today. Inside this private group, you can ask anything you want about your practice, your life, anything at all. We love being there for you in support and interaction with you because this is our calling, and it may be yours too. You might come to love this work as much as we do and find it extremely satisfying. And if you haven't signed up yet, now is not the time to procrastinate. You don't want this to be one of those moments that you look back on, second-guessing yourself, wishing that you would have jumped at the opportunity. Either way, either you're not going to join us or you will. I believe, especially by looking at all these numbers right now, there's no better time than now to join. So I believe you're ready to get off the fence and join us now. There's only one person who stands between you and this huge step for a better life and a better world, and that person is you. Now is the time to take the next step in your professional life and your personal expansion. Sign up and make a stand. Don't waste another day of your life in suffering and pain of Lyme disease when you can start getting your life back today, right now. This is the time. This is the place where everything changes from this point forward. You only get one life, and this is your chance to take it back and start living a better life, your best life, and make the world a better place. Look, Taylor and Roy shared their hearts with you, and we're there, in the trenches, losing everything, struggling for survival, just like so many other people struggling every day as victims of Lyme's disease. There's no reason that if you have chronic Lyme, you can't share your dramatic story just like Taylor and Roy, who went from destitute and homeless to fully empowered, owning their own ranch in the heart of the scenic Pacific Northwest. And you can do this too. By having the information available in this course, you as a practitioner in the healing arts will be able to simply ask them questions, not even expecting an answer anytime soon, just allowing that question to work on their subconscious. Let him or her work it out and see where it leads. Then answer their question openly and honestly based on what you've learned, but allow them to make their own decisions and take their own actions. There are doctors joining, and this course is formatted for them. But you don't have to be a doctor to join us today. If you or someone you love or care for has chronic Lyme disease, you can take this course. Now, you may be able to get certified as a graduate of our course, but that doesn't give you the right to practice. You can, on the other hand, as a layman, make suggestions to family and friends and allow them to make their own decisions, to take their own actions. Then you can ask them about their findings. Doctors should not give their patients advice except for those things that would not be a conflict of interest for them or their practice. Again, though, you could ask them a particular question or a number of questions and let them do their own research and report their findings to you. You, just like we, are providing the information. You have no more exposure than that. As a licensed healthcare professional, you may be banned from giving any advice concerning any of this information, but you can, on the other hand, ask your patient if they've ever heard of XYZ. Then listen to what they have to say. If their answer is no, you can follow up with, I wonder if Google has any information on that. Then just let nature follow its own natural path. Because we love victims of Lyme disease and we relate so well to them, we know what it's like to lose everything and have very little funds left over from a program such as this. This I know. You will spend a lot more than the cost of this course by deciding to continue struggling with chronic Lyme, and you know that's true. You can go from victim of Lyme disease to becoming victorious over Lyme disease by taking this course and taking your life back. Who knows? You might just find that helping others overcome chronic Lyme disease is how you want to live out your days in peace, harmony, and helping make the world a better place as you help get the word out and help others out. This may be your sacred mission and the reason you were subjected to Lyme disease in the first place. Isn't every tragedy in our lives just training, preparing us for something better or another way to let us know that we're headed in the wrong direction? Maybe this is one of those redirections in life. Put Lyme disease behind you and make the adjustments you need to live a massively more fun and productive life. If you're a private practicing physician, the advantages of having access to this training and being a certified practitioner can put you miles ahead of any other competition in your marketplace. Plus, after you receive your certification, you may want to call up the local newspaper and let them know that you are now prepared to serve this community, resulting in a free PR, public relations piece for you and your practice. If you are still building your practice, this may help fill up the rest of your schedule. It's not like you're spending your money to take another course, like you might at the local college or university, who gives no money-back guarantee and does not either save you potential hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical expenses, or if you're a doctor, bring you new business to your door. And that's not even counting the bonuses. I mean, you're getting all of this. You should be paying $11,297, but right now, you can have it all for $14.97. Far less than you'd spend on one trip to the hospital. And as you know, people with Lyme disease will probably take many trips to the hospital over the term of their struggle with chronic Lyme. Plus, you're getting an extra $9,800 in bonuses free. I'm telling you, it doesn't get any better than this. So now it's up to you. You have two choices. The first choice, you can decide to do nothing with the information you've learned over the last hour. And if you choose to do nothing, what effect will that have on your life? Nothing. You will just go about your life every day as the day before, no harm, no foul. Nothing but our best wishes for you and yours if this is not for you. Or you can step out in faith with an open mind and heart and latch onto this groundbreaking leading-edge technology and expand your knowledge base, awareness, and consciousness to the unlimited possibilities based on facts, statistics, and alternative science, even if it is shunned by the pharmaceuticals and the governing bodies who are associated with them. It's up to you. And if you feel like it wasn't worth every penny you paid, you can have 100% of your money back in 14 days. If your life doesn't change massively, if you're not empowered to help others to be free from Lyme disease and start living their best lives, then we don't even want your money. If this is not for you, please take your money back. We also never offer this course at this price. This course, given live, will take 3 days to cover, which as you know takes like 5 days in real life, requiring flights, hotel stays, rent-a-car, Uber and meals, and the course is $25,000, including certification. Now you can get it all. You get the course, and you get all the bonuses. That's nearly $10,000 in bonuses, which you get for free, all for $14.97? That's insane. Plus, you don't have to leave the comfort of your own home. You can attend all the classes online at any time you can fit it into your schedule, with lifetime access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Unlimited access. Anytime you need to review something in the course, it's there, on demand. All you need is a device with an internet connection. That's it. Lifetime access also enables you to receive all updates, all new modules which are added to the course without having to retake the course. It's like a living, breathing entity which you have access to 24/7 for the rest of your life. To bring this into perspective, if you compare this offer to our live event, you're easily saving $34,800, plus expensive and the loss of time of having to attend the event and flying to and from. What it really comes down to is this. The result of your taking this course can have massive impact on your life and the lives of others, especially those associated with people who suffer from Lyme disease. What if you, or your next Lyme patient, is the next big story of someone being freed from the snare of Lyme disease? What if their story is the story that lets someone believe that they too could have a new lease on life, free from Lyme disease and all its continued entanglements? All because of you and the action you took today. How much better does it get? If only the life of one person was affected and changed for the better, it would be worth it at 10 times the cost. And I believe in you and what you do. And I see many people have new and improved lives thanks to the work you do, which is a result of your taking this course. But if you decide to leave right now and don't take action, you might think you learned a lot of interesting things today. Things that have piqued your interest. Things you can study more about on your own. But my guess is, by tomorrow morning, you'll already slip back into your old routine. Am I right? We've seen so many people's lives literally transformed from listless and even near comatose to leaders of active, productive, meaningful, happy, and fulfilled lives. There are no words to adequately express what a blessing this is to be doing this kind of work in the world, and we hope that you will join us in this journey. Then there are those of you who just do what other people do and go along with your lives day in, day out, just the same old every day, and there's nothing wrong with that. But because we actually believe in you and care about you changing your own life and the lives of others, I want to be your coach, your friend, and your mentor. I'm not going to let you put this on the back burner or let you fall back into the same old routine. Not going to happen. We're not going to let you fall back into the same old habits. We're going to help you break the chains that bind you so that you can break through to the next level. If you want really lasting change in your life and want to have a significant impact on others' lives and the world, you need repeated exposure to the very information that so many other students have proven successful in the past. This is what you get from making an investment in your future today. And if you haven't signed up yet, it's probably due to one of these things which are holding you back from doing the right thing. First off, you might be thinking you're not technically inclined enough, or that you might be afraid of what other people will think, or that you just can't afford it. We already know that, and you'll find out that we cover all these things in explicit details inside the course. Maybe you had experience with alternative medicines and didn't have that good of an experience before. No problem. Don't let that get to you. We've left no stone unturned, and you will get all the support you need, even live support, for the unforeseeable challenges which may rear their ugly head. You're not alone in this. We and other students and doctors are all there in the private group willing and able to back you up and help you address anything that might pop up. This is why we put so much effort into this course, far more than we put into anything else we've ever done before, because we've been impacted so much. Our lives have been literally saved and transformed, and we feel as though we've been given a new lease on life. We are living enthusiastic and powerful lives, and we owe it all to this material, which we feel, though the very least we could do, is to give back by helping others do the same. This is our destiny, and we feel as though it's a sacred obligation. So we do this work because we are so blessed to be so blessed. All the students we discussed today and thousands of others have started their transformations and woke up one morning on the other side of chronic Lyme disease, just like we did. These are first-generation recoveries. all by design or trial and error, but all magnificent in all their glory. These people came from all walks of life. They're no different or more special than any one of you are right now. If they can do this, you can do this. You are just as smart, if not smarter, just as capable, and damn it, you deserve it. But you still have reservations. Because we can agree on one thing, and it's this. It's not what it costs you. It's what it can give you in exchange for your investment. I can tell you, many people have lost everything. I mean everything. Their marriages, the house, the car, the careers. They've been abandoned by friends and family and are bankrupt. If not financially, then all of the possibilities that they once had in life, they're gone. This is how we know that the measly $14.97 it costs to take this course is a no-brainer. Because answer this question. Would you pay $14.97 if you knew you could get your life back to where it was before you got the Lyme disease? The answer is always yes. Who wouldn't? So it's not about the money. Maybe it's because you don't believe. Maybe you don't believe in me, or this sounds too good to be true. Maybe this is all a scam, that none of this is true, that the testimonials are faked, and the stats have been doctored up somehow. Maybe you believe, well, maybe they did it, but that would never work for me, because, well, stay with me here. Maybe it's just because you don't believe in yourself. If you think of all the opportunities you've stared in the face, really potentially good things that could have happened in your life, if it weren't for the fear of taking the next step or the inner voices echoing in your head, insisting that you're in some way not worthy, all the excuses that can go on in there, you know what I mean? Well, you can do it. Here's what I believe. I believe you can. So that's why I want you to sign up right now. No more screwing around. Let's do this thing that we need to get things done to get you from where you are today to where you want to be tomorrow. When you sign up, you will unequivocally be able to stand head and shoulders above and beyond the others who do not have access to this information. So here's what you need to do right now. You need to click on the button that's on your screen and sign up. If you want to lock in and guarantee you're going to get the best resources you've ever had access to. See, when you sign up, you have a lot of awesome things in your corner that are backing you up and cheering you on as you move forward with this valuable information. You have the private group and the members area where you can watch all the videos and claim your exclusive bonuses if you decide to join us today. And you can access this on any and every single device you have. The private student group with thousands of other students who are making this work, backing you up and keeping you company and answering your questions with me every single day. Once you sign up, you'll see them, right? This private group is where the testimonials come from. That's where we help each other be even more successful together. You get access to all of this pretty much automated. Once you click the button on your screen, you get full details. If you join right now, your bonuses will be automatically added, and as of right now, we do still have space for all 4 bonuses, so don't wait. Hit that thing right now. Let's quit playing around, and let's get real with what our future is going to look like for a change. How much will it cost to implement these alternative medicines? You heard Roy say that he and his wife kicked Lyme disease for pennies a day. It's not that it's expensive to implement any of the natural medicines which have been provided naturally by God. There are some pieces of equipment you could buy as well if you decide to go that route. These are usually employed by alternative medical providers. There are many people who have them installed in their homes. These could cost thousands of dollars, and you could invest in them if you like, but they are not necessary. But we want you to know about them because you never know. It might be the thing that works best for you because every case is different as every person is different. If you need it and it works for you, you will get it. If you want this course badly enough, you will do whatever it takes to get it. If you don't want this badly enough, then there's something deep down within you which is preventing you from having all other good things in life too, right? Yeah, I'm just saying. If you're into making excuses that keep you from being in the right place at the right time, then that's pretty much what you do. No judgment here. I mean, it is what it is. It's up to you. whether you want to keep living your life that way or make a massive change. All you have to do is hit that button on your screen and get started. Here's what you need to understand. There are those who have impressively amazing health and wellness. They get all the best things this life has to offer. You've heard other people say, well, if you don't have your health, what else is there? Yeah, what else is there? You can't just continue to do the same things and expect your life to change. Change comes by stretching, being flexible and adaptable. And when you come down to it, there are basically two kinds of people in the world. Those who make things happen and those who don't. You decide which kind of person you are. All you need is the courage and strength to push that button, and we'll take care of the rest. Do you feel undeserving in some way? As if you might not be good enough to have all the best things this life has to offer? Let me tell you this. This is my own personal belief. I believe it is the sacred right for us to have all the best things in this life. That's the way it's supposed to be. But it's up to you and me to step into it and accept what is rightfully ours. As far as I know, each of us has unlimited potential and the ability inside of us just waiting to be released and allowed to flourish. So when I look at you and I think about you, I see somebody who has unlimited potential. So of course you deserve to have everything your heart desires, especially good health and wellness. This is your birthright. No one is more deserving than you. But maybe you doubt this for yourself. So look deep inside yourself and ask yourself, do I deserve it? And the other step is, do you want to make a way? Do you want to find a way to make it happen? Okay? Do you have those two things? Are you willing to do it even if it's going to be hard? Are you willing to do what it takes even if challenges pop up? You would be willing to push through, right? If so, you have everything you could possibly need because we've got everything else you could possibly need. We have the how. We have the what. We've got the connections and the resources. We've got the tools and the community. We have access to those who have gone on before, and we have the results of thousands of victims who are victorious over Lyme disease, with more winners chiming in every day. We've got everything else we could possibly do to back you, but I'm asking you to do something for me, all right? 1, accept that you deserve to be healthy. 2, be willing to do what it takes to eradicate Lyme disease. Some of that work's going to be done right now. I mean, you have to sift through the information and figure out what you're going to do about what. And if you're a busy person like me, you're thinking, David, I just don't have the time. It's not about how much time you have. It's about what you do with the time you have, no matter how little time you think you may have. You think you don't have time? A career Marine comes to mind by the name of Albert, who had chronic Lyme disease while in service. He would push through the pain and cover up his symptoms any way he could while maintaining a schedule of being a full-time Marine. Talk about not having time! He was committed to not letting Lyme disease knock him out of the military. He started Roy's Solution, and 27 days later was back on his game and continued the regimen for a year. Now he's feeling good as ever, with no more Lyme. If you take this step, you'll know what it's like to have your life back, or help others get their lives back. Don't tell me you have enough time. Well, then there's Jim. Jim was working 3 jobs to take care of his family. Chronic Lyme nearly took him out. He lost one job, then the second because he could no longer keep up. He was thinking about getting in a, quote, accident, unquote, so that his family would be able to survive for a while, since he thought the disease would eventually take his life anyway. Jim ended up getting good enough to take on 2 additional jobs to make the ends meet, and today he's Lyme-free. Now, I'm not saying anyone should go out and get 3 jobs. I'm just saying, here was a guy that purposefully maintained 3 jobs while he was doing the work of getting better. Actually, if you're maintaining a hectic life pace and you feel like you're underwater due to having chronic Lyme disease, then ridding yourself from Lyme disease is the only way to make more time in your life. I mean, think about it. What would your life look like without any Lyme disease? Do you think that if you keep doing what you've been doing, that one day you'll wake up with more time to do stuff in your day? Then you can take on something like this. No, that's a lie, and you know it. Maybe that's a little overhanded, but that's because I care about you. And I know there's nothing else I can put in front of you right now that is more powerful and affordable than this offer. We are giving you the result of our life's work. This is the result of the work that we've done in our professional lives prior to getting infected with Lyme disease, and the result of every minute struggling with Lyme disease and overcoming the disease and helping others kick Lyme disease in the butt. I feel like we've done our very best to put this in front of you at an insanely inexpensive price. We're throwing in a ton of bonuses, giving of ourselves to have your back on the back end, lifetime access. I mean, I just can't imagine what else we could do to make this easier or less expensive for you right now. But you've got to step up and do your part. All that we ask is that you step forward with an open heart and mind, and we will walk alongside of you the rest of the way. We've got your back. Right now, all you have to do is click that button on your screen to join our family. You got to sign up. Once you sign up, you get all these resources, and you get the best course in the healthcare industry on Lyme disease, including all the secret information no one else has the courage to talk about in open forums. And how can we talk about these things openly? Because we've done the work to protect ourselves in the disclosure process, and we'll show you how to do that also, if you choose. It's all here waiting for you in the Lyme Disease Alternative Medicine course, backing you up when you hit that button on the screen. You know, we had a million reasons not to do this. We all do. There's no perfect time to take a risk and become better. Something more than just leading a mediocre life. Or far worse, if you're suffering from chronic Lyme disease. Today, you can take this step that changes everything. Not only can you have your life back, but you can add tremendous meaning to your life, especially if you help us help others to put an end to the constant suffering of Lyme disease. You know what? You could have 10 million reasons not to do this, but if you have one good reason to do this, that one good reason outweighs all 10 million of the bad reasons, because we had a million reasons not to do this. But we made the decision to go ahead and do it anyway. I remember Jim telling me that it not only gave him a new lease on life, he knew that he would not be here on this planet right now if it weren't for this course. He was that committed to making sure the needs of his family were taken care of, which outweighed his desire to be with his wife and children. And now he has a good life, with a good paying job, and the ability to have something to leave to his heirs besides a life insurance policy, which he would not have had the opportunity to know had it not been for attending this course. Talk about your whys. You know what I call that? I call it a legacy. Did you know that people on this planet live their lives on this earth, and within 2 generations of their being here, they are forgotten and never spoken of again? Any thought of them will be wiped from existence, and that exemplifies just how transient we are in this life. Unless you can leave something behind, like a legacy. I mean, think about it. What can you build to be remembered by after you're long gone? This is your legacy. So your life has gone from the same old, with nothing to look forward to imagining your life with an incredible legacy to leave behind with your heirs. A version of you which will live on into the ages. And you haven't even taken the course yet. One of the questions that keeps coming up is, if I live outside the USA, will this work for me? The answer is absolute yes. We've had people attend this course from something like 80 different countries who have overcome Lyme disease and help others do the same thing. So it doesn't matter where you live on planet Earth, you can do this. Hey, I'm embarrassed to say that I'm not good with computers and technology. I don't know if I could do this. Look, anyone can do this. Even if there's a little bit of learning curve to this, anyone can do this. You don't have to be a nerd or a geek to attend these classes online. Now, we will still have live events. You can pay $25,000 to attend a live event, But we've done this to make this information available to those who might not be able to attend a $25,000 event. Or we even have a $5,000 3-day event. Plus, if you sign up today and take the course online, we're adding the best of the best bonuses, our private group, and access to everything that comes out that's new for life. As far as the technical thing, there's Donna, 65 years old, taking our course. And she is a hoot. But she's one of the least tech-savvy people I know. And you know what? Now I can make fun of her a little bit because we go back and forth and it's all in good fun. But are you ready for this? I asked her to send me a screenshot, and she took a picture of her computer with her cell phone. Hello? We've seen it all. All levels of technical ability. And it's all good. Anyone can do this. If you can watch a video, you can do this. How about this one? I'm afraid of going to jail for practicing medicine without a license. Look, if you're struggling with that one, remember when I said we're protected and we'll show you how to protect yourself too? Well, it's in there. It's in the course. And we're not going to leave you hanging out there with your tail in the wind. Oh, I'm just too frightened. Hello? Of course you are. We're all a little frightened when it comes to decide to try to do something new. Something you don't know how to do. I mean, did you come out of the hospital at birth walking and talking? No. These were huge unknowns to you, but you wanted to incorporate communicating with others and moving about the world at will to your list of things you could do. So you persisted. And there were embarrassing times, but you made it. And now you can walk and talk without even thinking about it. Think of all the things you're unconsciously competent at, like driving a car or dancing. There was a time when those things were scary. Now it's no big deal. Same thing here. If you want to do it, if you want to incorporate this information to be included as a part of who you are, nothing could keep you from doing this. Nothing. And you've got sensitive, compassionate teachers who are willing to walk alongside of you every step of the way. We have made this so easy for you to take advantage of this special offer that I can't think of a reason why you wouldn't take this step forward. This is like way easier to attend on the road or in the privacy of your own home. There's no limit. And you have access to everything for the rest of your life. There's no pressure to memorize anything because all the answers, the data, materials, and the videos are instantly within your reach on your phone. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. We made this very, very, very easy for you. This is why we push people really hard to sign up for this program, because it's not just Donna, my favorite 65-year-old, or Albert, my favorite Marine, or 3-job Jim. It's the other family members. It's best friends. So many countless friends that I put through the program whose lives have been changed. People in my hometown that know very well whose lives have been completely changed and who are in a better place because of it. Okay, so I really wish I could do this, but I don't have the money. Do you know what a wish is? That's the first thing I would throw back on you. Anybody here who says, I don't have the money, it is a wish to you. Your restored health and wellness is only a wish to you, and wishes are worthless when it comes to creating actual results. You can wish, and you can hope, or you can plan. Wishing is not a plan, though. What is a plan? My question to you would be this. The first question I always say is, if you had the money, then would you do it? Let me ask everybody watching right now who thinks money's stopping them, because most of you are lying to yourself. It's not the money that's the problem, right? So let me ask you this question. If you had the money, then would you do this? If you had the money, would you sign up right now? All right. I'm looking at the chat box, and I see literally 100% of the people saying yes right now. I haven't seen a no yet. All right, so let me ask you this, okay? $14.97. Look around your house. I guarantee you have stuff all around your house that you could sell right now to come up with that money. I guarantee you, if you looked at your bank account on your savings account or the extra limit you have on your credit card, that you have that space on your credit card right now to make a go at this, right? If you don't have that, you have a friend who cares about you deeply. That if you went to him and said, do you really care about me? If so, I need you to help me, right? That friend would have a credit card or a bank account or something with that amount of money on it, right? I'm not saying here's a franchise that's going to cost you $750,000 if you want to get into the Dunkin' Donuts business. You know what Dunkin' Donuts is, right? It's a chain that sells even worse coffee than Starbucks and donuts and stuff, right? It's basically a worse version of Starbucks. But if you want to get into the Dunkin' Donuts business, it would cost you $750,000 for a franchise. And only then, after you pass their approval process, because they just don't take anybody, right? If I was pitching you a Dunkin' Donuts franchise, and I said it was $750,000, I would then believe you if you said, hey, David, I don't have the money. Because you probably don't have $750,000 worth of stuff that you could liquidate. Loan, take to the pawn shop, hawk it, trade it, do whatever you need to get the $750,000, right? I don't think you could call a friend up and borrow the money from them. I don't think you could ask for a raise on your credit card limit for your credit card up to $750,000, right? I would be sympathetic to you in that situation and say, okay, I get it. This is only for a limited amount of people, right? But I'm talking about $1,497. So goal number one is to figure out how to get the money. Because I know each and every one of you, if you truly want to do this, okay. By the way, it's okay if you don't. If you're treating your health as a hobby, then yeah, there's no reason for you to go out of your way to figure out a way to get signed up because this is just a hobby for you. This isn't real for you. Or like if you get a lot of money from an inheritance, which then, by the way, you would have the money to do this. So that's a dumb idea, but let's just humor me for a second here. What if you're already financially independent and you were like, yeah, maybe I'll do this as well, right? Yeah. Then you necessarily wouldn't have to sign up for this because it wouldn't be a big deal for you. Whether you did or whether you didn't, right? If you're saying, David, I stare at the ceiling every night because I'm concerned about how I'm going to be able to provide for myself and my family. You say, David, I'm scared of what the next 15 years of my life is going to look like because if I keep doing what I'm doing right now, I don't know how I'm even going to be able to live on my own in 15 years without getting a handout from somebody, without having to depend on somebody else, a drain on somebody else in order to get by. Right, if you're saying, David, my future health and wellness is unclear, and I'm in a dangerous position right now, then it's not okay for you to set this aside and do nothing with it. And it's going to hurt. I'm not pretending like this isn't going to be hard for you. I'm not pretending like this isn't going to be a challenge for you. You're going to have to dig in and get uncomfortable. Let's work together and figure out how to make sure this isn't like every other opportunity you've ever signed up before, because chances are this isn't the first time you've presented with the opportunity, and the chances are you've spent money in the past with opportunities to supposedly change your life, and now you might have nothing to show for it. Right? I get that. This is different though. Obviously it's different. I don't even have to tell you it's different. You know it's different. You can feel how different this is right now. Think about this. The harder it is for you to get started, the more likely you're to be successful. Because that effort to get going is momentum. That overflows right into your elimination of your Lyme disease. If it was so easy for you, you didn't even think about it, and you pushed this button and you signed up, you'd probably be successful, even if it takes you longer, and it probably will be outstanding. But when you dig deep, or borrow from a loved one, or literally sell stuff around the house, or you go to your parents or brothers and borrow it, and now you're financially obligated to him, bam! Now you can start your new life without being hindered by Lyme disease. Now, responsibility is a no-no word. If you study people who teach you how to change their lives using webinars, they never tell people about responsibility. People don't like to take on responsibility. They'll say, use the famous line, it's not your fault. I'm here to tell you that it is your fault, and you need to take responsibility. If I care about you, this is what I'm going to tell you, right? It is your fault. However, you got wherever you are today, and it's your fault how you got there. Because you're in control of your results, right? But the past is over. The future is now. So your health and wellness is the future, and it's going to be your fault. So let's do it on purpose now. Let's make your new life start tomorrow on purpose. And the more responsibility you put out there, the better your new life is going to be. Now I get it, this is hard. This is a challenge. If it wasn't a challenge, it wouldn't be worth doing. The hard part is getting out of your way, getting over yourself, getting your ego out of the way, sucking it up and making it happen. Even if it involves some creativity or experimentation on your part to make it happen. Taking responsibility, that's the hard part. You just have to sign up right now. I've talked to so many customers who either couldn't or weren't going to sign up at first because they're worried about what other people might think and later wanted to just kind of give up on the idea of alternative medicine because they were afraid that they would die or be sent to prison because of what friends told them or articles they found on the internet. And this is a huge responsibility which falls on no one else but you. Just like Janet. Janet wanted to take the course but sought advice from others because she'd been raised to believe in there being safety in the counsel of others. So pretty much others were directing all the details of her life. And just between you and me, they were directing all the details of her life. So she didn't take the course, and thank God she came back. She thanks God she came back and took the course. She felt like her body was shutting down, there was nothing she could do about it, and her counsel had told her that there was nothing wrong with her. Nothing medically wrong with her. She decided to take the course secretly to see if she might be able to get better or at least extend her own life by 1 or 2 more years so she could attend her son's graduation if she could only make it 2 more years. Well, I don't even have to tell you because I wouldn't be telling you about Janet had she not fully recovered, eliminated Lyme disease altogether, and is alive and well today, and that was 5 years ago. Not only did she see her son get married, but she received a stunning red rose from her new daughter-in-law on their wedding day, and she helped deliver their grandson at home. So much joy, so much life ahead. And she still seeks the counsel of others when facing decisions in life, but she weighs their advice with her own needs, wants, and desires in the mix, then decides for herself what's the best for Janet. Sometimes you just have to step out in faith and do the right thing, the thing that is right for you, and only you know what that is. So my hope is for you that you can look back on this day 5 years from now, knowing that you did the right thing with a magnificent new life and bright future ahead, and the decision you made today was the turning point that put you back in charge of your life. No longer a victim of Lyme disease, or anything else for that matter. Just like Janet's story, we've heard so many people tell us that they thought their bodies were shutting down, like they were potentially breathing their last breath every day. What might have happened had they not taken the course or some other proven method of action? I don't know. But I could probably imagine them not being as happy, joyous, or having hearts so full of love as they have after taking charge of their own lives and not letting it be dictated by some insane disease, which otherwise would be a life sentence. If it were me, I would choose life, empowered and abundant in all the best things this life has to offer. As you can imagine, we've seen it all. We've seen and heard first-hand testimonials from people just like you and me who have tried to battle Lyme disease with everything they've got to no avail. And sooner or later, and if you're strong-willed, committed, and determined, even later, you realize you've just run out of will and determination. That's when Lyme disease conquers you, your being, and who you are, with no regard for whatever or whoever else is participating in your life. If Lyme has a purpose, it's to take you out. And since the AMA and the CDC insist that there's no cure for chronic Lyme disease, they have proclaimed this disease will be with you when you die, if it's not the cause of your demise. Yet every year, over 900 people in the USA get diagnosed with Lyme disease for the first time. And every day, a dozen victims of Lyme disease find freedom from Lyme, never to experience another symptom, and go on living their best lives. You came to this earth with a mission, and it wasn't to let Lyme disease take you out. Maybe your mission was to defeat this seemingly insurmountable foe, or maybe there is a higher calling, which is unreachable, beneath the heavy weight of Lyme disease, which is keeping you disempowered when you could be free from the disease. Think of the great life you have waiting for you on the other side of Lyme. If Lyme is keeping you from having the best things in life, isn't it time you kicked it to the curb once and for all? I think so. But only you can decide for yourself, just like Janet did, right? You and you're living your best life is not only the best gift you can give yourself, but think about what a gift your life would be to your loved ones, your family, your friends, and future generations, those who have already come and those who are on their way to your life. How much better does it get? You can be there with all your faculties, feeling more alive and better than ever for all those important events to come. You may have established a legacy by now, but think about how much more amazing impact you can have by being there for your family and those whom you care about. How much more could you do in the world if you could just be free from the disease and maybe even be a light in the darkness for others who think there might not be any escape for them? Your quality of life is your greatest asset, and I'm convinced that today is the day where you stop going the path which has led you here. Pivot. Start your new, empowered life in a whole new direction, living a life without Lyme disease. We have seen so many people's lives change, some who never had Lyme disease, some who never knew they had Lyme disease, and those who have struggled for the better part of a lifetime struggling against the disease. Should your life be one of them? You never know when life is going to attack someone you know and love. Lyme disease is no respecter of age or gender. It's happy to infect babies as well as the elderly and everywhere in between. And it may do so by attacking your beloved pets. Go get them first, and then could easily spread throughout your entire family. But you, just like we, can stand up and be counted among those who have taken the course and proclaim, "As for me and my house, there will be no Lyme." This course impacts not only you and your life, but the lives of so many others and for future generations. So it really comes down to you and your belief in yourself. You don't have to believe in me, because of who am I? You might think this is some kind of offshore underground trick or gimmick. You might even think I'm just trying to get your money, right? Well, we've all been doing this for years, and you can look at our reputation out there. You'll find that it's absolutely the real deal. And I get it. The internet's a scary place. It's hard to tell who's real and who's faking it. But I can tell you this, thousands of people who would be suffering from Lyme disease, and many who should have died with Lyme disease by now, are alive and well and having the time of their lives against all odds, and you too should be living such an amazing life. That's what I believe. You cannot fake our results, the results of others who have defeated chronic Lyme disease, even though the authorities say this disease is unbeatable. Many of these individuals have attended our school, which is located on the same property as our home. Do you think that if we were scamming people that we would invite them to our home? I know, that just wouldn't make sense, right? I mean, we're so easy to find. We live right here. Our motive is pure. We know what it's like to suffer from chronic Lyme disease, and we know what it feels like to be on this side of it. We have nothing but love for you, and would like to see you join us on this side. And come to our school, our home, and share your story of overcoming Lyme disease. Maybe you don't believe in yourself. Maybe you feel like you won't follow through, which is nuts, because we and the whole group is here to help you every step of the way. But if your life is screwed, and your health is screwed, and you're just pretty much screwed in the world, and all of your interactions with it, well, it's up to you. And we get it, because we felt the same way, and our heart is breaking right now along with you. But this we know. You can either let the screwing continue, like we almost did, or stop it right here, right now. You are not sent here on this planet for it to end like this. Unless that's what you want. Then who am I, or anyone else, to stand in your way? But if there's an inkling of hope, if there's the slightest chance that a miraculous life is waiting for you to arrive, I want you to think about this very seriously. You need these resources to transmute your disease into positive energy and healthy abundance. We just don't know of any other way to do it, except to take action. And if you're not able to do that, we're so sorry, because you're just not able to do much of anything. We're sad for you, and we know that feeling. And if that's true for you, it is what it is. And there's no judgment here for you. And we are sending you all the love we can, from our hearts to yours right now. And I hope you can feel that, because we love you, hate seeing you suffer, and only wish the best for you. Taking inspired action, even against the odds, is the only way we know to do this work. This is necessary. It is real. And if you cannot do that, well, that's what you've chosen. But listen to me. It doesn't take much belief in yourself to get this done. All it takes is the faith of a mustard seed. And all those good things come to pass for you. You don't have to believe in yourself 100%. Heck, I don't even believe in myself 100%. And I do pretty good in the confidence department right now. I always have some degree of self-doubt. It's not that self-doubt or second-guessing yourself will ever end. But if you have the slightest amount of hope, the faith of half a grain of sand in yourself, you can do this. And that glimmer of belief in yourself, backed by our course, and the private group you will be joining with all the best people who have gone from victim to victorious. You will have everything you need to get from here and there in such a massive way that our language just does not have the words to adequately explain it. But you, your body, your heart, and your soul will know what it feels like to be free from Lyme disease. We've got your back, and our whole team and community are here for you for support through this process. Let's be very clear, and then I'm going to wrap up here, because I want to welcome all the new people who decided to join our family today and take advantage of all our bonuses that will be gone forever after this training ends. I want to make you a promise, and that promise is, if the course, certification, discounts, and bonuses and back-end support you get doesn't give you the ability to change your life and or the lives of others, then I'll give you your money back, because we're giving you everything we've got. And if you cannot do this, we don't want your money. But if I'm going to do that for you, you have to do something for me. You've got to believe in yourself, enough for me. And you've got to do whatever you have to do to get the money together to put you in a seat in this class right now. And for every step forward you take, I will take 10 on your behalf. Take 2 steps, I'll take 20. You take 10 steps, I'll take 100 steps for you. Take that desire you have for that fully restored health, and then some, and that's your fire. We'll pour gasoline on it, and we'll create something tremendous together. Go click that button on your screen right now, and we can get started. And if anybody has any questions that went unanswered or need assistance signing up, just drop them into the chat, because we're about to wrap this thing up and we're going to be there to assist you, help you answer those questions. And again, consider this very seriously. It has a significant amount on your future and the futures of people you love and care about, unlike anything else we've ever seen. And if you get access to the masterclass for life, this includes all updates, completely for free, forever, and you never pay another cent. There's no future fees or charges. There's nothing out there like that. You literally have a lifetime of unrestricted access to the course and all future updates as we add more content, as often as weekly, always staying up to date with the newest in information and strategies as they come down the pike. And like I said before, if you're not happy with the course for any reason, we've taken out all the risks. You have a completely risk-free trial to make this work, so there's literally nothing stopping you other than being scared to make a real change in your life. This is your last chance. We officially have one more spot open to get all the bonuses. And if you're hearing me say this now, it doesn't matter if you're watching this live or an encore replay. We set up our system so that if you're watching right now, the bonuses are still available, all 4. And since you've stuck with me this long, we're going to give the bonuses to everyone. So there's literally no reason for you not to join right now. But the second this webinar ends, the bonuses will be gone forever. And remember, we have our system programmed that even if you're watching an encore replay presentation, that if you join the family right now, you will get access to all the bonuses, even if the slots are filled. So you want to join right now, and I'll make personally sure that you receive all the bonuses. So if you're ready to take that next step forward, free from Lyme disease forever, this is your absolute last chance to do it and change your life from this point on. Because my one goal, my one mission, my life's purpose, and my true passion is making people take the steps to change their lives forever And I really hope you enjoyed this webinar. I pour my heart and my soul into every single one of these that I do, and I hope you can tell by now that my one true purpose in life and passion in life is helping people be free from Lyme disease and escape the anxiety and depression that I felt when I was standing in your shoes right now. The pain and suffering you're having to endure right now is not natural. And if you're tired of it and you're ready to make real change in your life, then stop procrastinating. No one can make this choice but you. No one can take the final step but you. So if you're ready to make a massive, lasting change in your life and your family's lives, and to live life as it was meant to be lived, then click the button and join our family. Because the last thing I will say to you guys, and we end this webinar, and I can't explain to you how deeply I mean this, whether it's a conversation at coffee shop meeting, the love for your life, or making a decision in the moment, even if you're scared or unsure, to start the best opportunity to make massive change in your life, ushering in a whole new area of health, love, freedom, and fun, the number one thing I've learned is that sometimes the smallest decisions can make the biggest difference and completely change your life forever. I look forward to seeing all of you on the inside as new members of our family.